My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, this is the fake sun at 6:23 a.m. and you're looking at the same pattern of conduct. Yesterday evening at 7, the fake sun was on this side of the street. As I was at the TABOR professional building, the fake sun is rising, and this is where you saw the fake sun setting and the people of the state stalking. And this is after, and remember, this is the same street. The OVITT Family Community Library is right along Euclid Avenue. The entity is keeping the fake sun on one strip of land, less than a mile and keeping it over me, which is the pattern of conduct. And this is exactly what LAPD were engaging in, while the entity kept it over literally the apartment complex of Alvarado Gardens over me from the beginning to the end of the day. And the hallmark of stalking with helicopters in doing so. This is the entity 5YYM921 is stalking. And they're doing so on behalf of the city of Ontario, which is the state of California, which is documented on podcast Stalking last night. Doing so pursuant to federal stalking, my communication devices being remaining under surveillance, and what it is that I'm physically doing, which is pursuant to monitoring. This is gang stalking by the government, federal group stalking and monitoring, where the entity is flying over 325 West G Street. There is no airport. 2500 Airport Drive is nowhere near here. The entity is engaged in far deviation in order to gang stalk with the people of the state. The entity shares in what is crossing path, maintaining aerial surveillance, while the people of the state are the demons that are pacing all around in engineered light under a fake sun. This is the special needs population, license 6XVE193. And every business, apartment complexes are businesses as well, but their people of the state are also gang stalking, engaging in surveillance where they reside, and that's relevant to the prosecution. The sun rise and the sun set. That's what I documented yesterday. And the sunset is, again, Woodside Senior Apartments, where the entity committed kidnapping pursuant to federal group stalking and monitoring. The same Ontario Police Department that you're listening to and watching every day engage in criminally monitoring me, stalking, targeting me. And they are going to be disbanded pursuant to what is targeting with the intent to steal property from me. And doing so with Tracy Banks, the co-conspirator that summoned them, lying about why she called the police in the first place when her and the police are engaged in gang stalking together. They are the special needs population conspiring through a secret conservatorship with the people of the state who are all targeting, and this is state action. This is what the state of California is engaging in. It is currently 6:26 a.m., where this is not the sun, and the people of the state are not ignorant that they're under what is a light source indicating strangers are not stalking. An entity is engaged in what is gang stalking, and it is entirely malicious and it's psychopathic. You'll see this is the TABOR professional building, and this is where the fake sun is keeping the light source over me all day long. This is 26 a.m. All right, under the fake sun, stalking is 636 North Vine Avenue. That's 7-Eleven, the corporation, and doing so through its employees and customers. Maintaining stalking presence in the path at my arrival is license 8MLF476 and 7JIU327, and they are gang stalking with the rest of the people of the state and the entity that's keeping me under surveillance inside of the 7-Eleven. It is, again, 6:28 a.m. where the fake sun is present. This is P.O.C. and surveillance cameras are showing the gang stalking conduct that 7-Eleven is engaging in. Hello. All right, license plate, stalking inside of the 7-Eleven. This is special needs. And the city of Ontario gang stalking with them. You'll see them crossing path with the same method. The dumpster trucks, special needs demons, using dumpster trucks as light activity crossing path with the city. This is monitoring with 7-Eleven, the corporation, and the employees. I'm going to prosecute. This is federal RICO, and it's also the prosecution of the entity for domestic terrorism. Psychopath stalking you inside of a store. 6VUT526, 5DXF462, 9RJH044, 6UQU370. And 7-Eleven is profiting from federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, they're engaging in what is profiting while they are also keeping the evidence under surveillance. These are stalkers that know that they're being documented, and they engage in more stalking behavior as they're documented. That's relevant to the special needs status that they share in. License 9SFU634, and this is what the Ontario Police Department is engaging in, stalking with them and keeping the evidence of their stalking behaviors under surveillance, and this is relevant to federal prison. This is what Starbucks is engaging in, the Starbucks the corporation, and Starbucks the employees, and Starbucks the establishment, while the fake sun is over me on this street where the same fake sun is setting at the same 7-Eleven. Remember, the entity has the fake sun on the east side of the 7-Eleven at 6. This 7-Eleven has the fake sun on the west side of the 7-Eleven, actually in alignment as I'm capturing it at 7:13 p.m. last night. 7-Eleven is at 636 North Vine, and the fake sun is where 7-Eleven is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and is doing so now. It's currently 6:35 a.m. This is, again, special needs of a population, stalking with light, stalking under a fake sun, stalking as a population, stalking while they are aware that their secret means of targeting someone is exposed, and they're still engaging in stalking, just like the Ontario Police Department that you are looking at and listening to, stalking openly when it's no longer a mystery or a question or a reasonable question. They are openly engaging in stalking someone, and this is speaking to special needs. It's also speaking to an unlawful threat by terrorists who are ticking time bombs. They are a threat to the public, and it's relevant to federal prison. It's relevant to damages. It's relevant to the ways in which that population is going to be prosecuted. All right, this is all government action. All right, the government's engaged in gang stalking with every business in Ontario, including 7-Eleven, doing so with the population, which are in the shoes of the state as well. It's currently 6:35 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, stalking with the fake sun that's remaining over me is 7AQE900, and demons sitting in the path at D Street and Fern while the people of the state are pacing in relevant position, and the entity is following with the fake sun. This is what Starbucks is engaging in while the fake sun is sitting stationary at 507 North Euclid Avenue at the same time. 8RQZ297, 6DAN161, license 7ZMD141, 5ENM502. 9SMY825, 6MJW972, 8ZLH696, 9HTV411, 9NIB967, 6WTZ388, 6NMV661, 7SPL531, 90823F2, 7TCM598, 5EXB778, and this is the people of the state at 321 Fern Avenue, gang stalking. So I'm going to show you, keeping a demon in the street with their hazards on, the entities following with the fake sun, the people of the state maintaining activity. This is the demon gang stalking where they live, federal stalking, state action, gang stalking where they reside, just leaving their vehicle in relevant position while the people of the state are demons pacing all around. You're going to see the people at 6:42 a.m. going to the vehicle that they intentionally left in the path at D Street and Fern, maintaining light activity. That's the peculiarized light while demons are pacing one after another. Again, that's the entity that's going to federal prison for gang stalking and committing kidnapping at Starbucks. All right, that's criminal facilitation at 321 Fern Avenue. This is where I'm at, where the entity's engaging in that iteration of the P.O.C. It's currently 6:42 a.m. 7N71178. The people of the state in their shacks over here. Okay, they're tore down, little broken down homes where they're gang stalking. 96787W3. 7NQU614. And I've documented this 5CPF621. Taking the same path, and the people of the state maintaining ongoing activity at 404 C Street. Yeah, that's 404 West C Street, gang stalking at their residence. This is crossing path at your residence, monitoring at your residence, doing so on behalf of the state. You're going to see the people of the state walking into their residence, they're crossing path, they're gang stalking. All right, all you're doing is adding the label of Starbucks, because this is what Starbucks is doing while they're making money. So this is an ongoing illustration of criminal monitoring, and it is indistinguishable with regard to the pattern of conduct. You're going to prosecute a government, a public entity that's gang stalking you, a whole bunch of demons who are special needs, who are doing so where you're conducting a business, maintaining a business establishment. That's criminal monitoring, and that's relevant to RICO because there are laws and policies in order to deal with that. And so it's built into your business. That's what Starbucks is engaging in. That's a federal RICO case. You're monitoring where you reside. You're not a private citizen. You're engaging in surveillance with the state. The state is using the venue of 404 West C Street to maintain the criminal elements of monitoring while demons are sitting in the middle of the street with facilitating light activity, and the entity is following with a fake sun. All right, and the people of the state are engaging in surveillance, knowing exactly who I am, where I'm at. The environment proves that, and also their conduct with regard to facilitating and surrounding, which is stalking. 9HQP118. P.O.C. 9FHH373. 6THG096. And it's 6:44 a.m. That is again 404 West C Street. I'm going to go ahead and document that. It's 6:45 a.m. So this is what you're understanding. What you heard the Ontario Police Department doing in helicopter, you heard all of this entity that I'm documenting by license plate. They're sharing in the same ceaseless pattern of conduct. 9MBN392. It's the demons themselves that are making some sort of delusional separation that what the gang stalking police department does, they're separate from, as I document walking through the same neighborhood a few hours later. It's a ceaseless pattern of conduct. They're all sharing in what the Ontario Police Department is proving that they're all doing together. And I'm documenting many of them specifically by address. I'm documenting all of them while the fake sun remains over me, while it's rising and setting on the same street in that neighborhood where the Ontario police are stalking, obviously. And they're so heavily overwhelmed with evidence, they've given up and acting like they're not stalking, because that's the whole point of gang stalking. You're supposed to be falsely depicted as somebody imagining it. So we're well beyond that. The entity has no interest in even acting like they're not stalking. They are openly stalking me, and the people of the state are going to be prosecuted for gang stalking with the state. 7ERK131, 8JQL664. This population was monitoring everything that I'm documenting the Ontario Police, the City of Ontario is engaging in. They're helping the government do that. And I will document your address. I will get your images. I'll show you gang stalking me where you live. I'll show you gang stalking me with the police where you live, because that's where you'll be subject to a raid and subject to federal prison. Right where you live. 7NJH821. That's how that federal policy works. Domestic terrorism is not going to be pacified because you're engaging in terrorism at your place of residence. No, that's just a way of identifying. We know exactly where that domestic terrorist remains. 4JIS 256. Unity sounding plane engines where the Ontario Police is gang stalking in the parking lot. And that's exactly why I'm documenting, again, 321 Fern Avenue, 404 West C Street, gang stalking with the City of Ontario. And that's exactly why they're going to be prosecuted. And I specifically identify them while they're engaging in criminal surveillance where they reside. 6WKR851. And this is at 304 Palm Avenue. The Ontario Police sitting in a vacant parking lot where this Asian church is located, doing so, stalking in the path. All right, so while I document the people of the state, this is what the entity that is gang stalking in the first place resorts to, because I overwhelm and bully the people of the state with evidence. All right, sharing with the City of Ontario, crossing path, just like they were at 7-Eleven, stalking. All right, doing so while monitoring with the 7-Eleven Corporation, doing so while they're monitoring with the corporation Starbucks, doing so while they're engaging in kidnapping while you document that. That's why they're going to federal prison. Okay, this is why Ocean and Amelia, this is why Patty and Brian and Elena are all going to federal prison. While the entity is gang stalking on a daily basis, including at the Starbucks, which I thoroughly documented, and then they committed a kidnapping together under the fake sun that's rising and setting at the TABOR Professional Building, no longer setting at 507 North Euclid Avenue, especially when I don't go there. It's remaining over the TABOR Professional Building as I'm there at 7:13 p.m., which is not in alignment with the drive-through window of the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, nor would the sun be anywhere near the same building, such as Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue at 7 in the morning when I'm capturing special needs Patty gang stalking me while I open and close the door at Starbucks at 6:40 in the morning, and engineer lights sweeping all through that cafe, which is never the product of sunlight. She's monitoring. 6U32615, just like the people of the state are right now. This is again at C Street and Palm. So let me document who you're listening to gang stalking, just like they were with the entities stalking by helicopter, the same City of Ontario, and stalking by airport, commercial airline planes. SENEN1 is gang stalking in their home with the City of Ontario. That's amplification while the Ontario Police are stalking in a vacant parking lot that is reserved for the church. This Asian community that has a church over here. I took a picture of it. Like 4USX828, gang stalking with the Ontario Police in relevant position, stalking in a parking lot, while the Ontario dumpsters are a means of light activity and amplification where the Ontario Police are engaging in surveillance. And this is the entity's effort while they're engaged in stalking. This is what they resort to, which is supposed to be intimidating and threatening people, and it's accumulation of evidence of stalking. That's how you're going to use the special needs conditions of the gang stalkers who are, again, not prepared for a federal prosecution. This is also why Tracy Banks is going to federal prison, because Ontario Police are engaged in criminal monitoring. And she engaged in summoning them and lied with them while they're engaged in surveillance together and engaged in kidnapping on May 29th. 3KDB272, P.O.C. All right, while they're crossing paths, the people of the state at 313. This is 313 Palm Avenue. Gang stalking. 315 Palm Avenue. Gang stalking. 317, yeah, Palm Avenue. Crossing path, monitoring with the City of Ontario, providing, facilitating activity, and monitoring with the Ontario Police. And that's because they know that they're being documented. So the police get into a location sharing in the pattern of conduct and what's supposed to be the neighborhood and what's supposed to be a covert system and what's supposed to be unsuspected. And all of that is exposed. All of that is, again, gone already. The entity has forfeited any sort of legitimate basis of anything other than a gang stalker, the fake sun, the engineered light, the stalking by planes and helicopters, and I'm documenting the demons in the neighborhood. And so the entity obviously engages in what it's targeting by arriving in the neighborhood and sharing in the elements of monitoring together, while the people of the state are still being documented as gang stalking in their homes, while they're doing so with the intent to obstruct justice with that same City of Ontario. License DG74B58, that's a paper plate, at 312 Palm Avenue. License 8HSG338, license plate. Yeah, this is all Palm and C Street, where the City of Ontario maintains activity incriminating the people of the state. As you can see, the pattern of conduct doesn't stop, the evidence doesn't stop, and you don't just stop documenting because you have proof of the police department stalking as well. That's the pattern of conduct. The government can't do it without the people, and the government is relying on some archaic idea that when they're engaging in gang stalking, that's supposed to just halt the evidence. No, actually, that's the direct proof that the federal government wants that they are targeting. That's when the cockroaches come out. And the cockroaches have a pattern of engaging in kidnapping when you're documenting the people of the state. The people of the state are going to federal prison, and so is the government that's engaging in gang stalking. All right, so this is Palm and C Street. I will be including that in the description box so that you can see the specific area where the people of the state are where I'm at, and I'm documenting the ongoing pattern of conduct by the people of the state that are residing in the area engaging in that P.O.C. The entity is following with the fake sign, and so is the Ontario Police Department. License 49379H3. License 6YZN665. License 5Z069G2. License 9JSH910. License 8GAS983. Alrighty, and this is, again, the entity engaging in this is the fake sign right here over in alignment to me, where the Ontario Police are engaging in surveillance, tracking my steps. This is what you're seeing them engage in at 1:07 p.m. when the fake sun is essentially in the same position because the OVITT Family Community Library is east of this location. And this is the Ontario Police engaging in surveillance. Under the fake sun, they're stalking, and they're stalking while the City of Ontario uses the means of amplified audible activity. They're doing so by stalking in the path while I'm documenting the people of the state. This is the same demon gang stalking at Starbucks with Corey Watson, vehicle 1129. This is not a coincidence. She's going to federal prison. This is the same demon. You see her smiling under the fake sun at 507 EUCLID Avenue. That's called psychological torture. This is special needs. She's going to be removed from the duties, engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, psychological torture, literally stalking while wearing a police uniform. This is not law enforcement. This is stalking, and there's a difference, and the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded for it. The Ontario Police Department gang stalking by helicopter all night is the same criminal activity that she's engaging in right now. Stalking in the path, maintaining audible activity, she's under the fake sun. The fake sun that's still at the same location over me in Ontario on this same street, C Street, at the OVITT Family Community Library, 10 hours from now. This is license plate. She's going to federal prison. Her and her partner, Corey Watson, 80549, license 1706919. And this is demonstration of mental illness as well. You're not only going to prosecute the department and disband them for a routine pattern of kidnapping while they're engaging in stalking. This is with the intent to obstruct justice. This is why she's stalking in the path, which she doesn't have any authority under the law to do. She's engaging in it while abusing the resources of the police department, and she is engaging in what is a psychopathic P.O.C. This is what the entity is doing while the people of the state are being documented, and as you're witnessing, they are going to be continuously documented while they're stalking. This is the whole point of documentation in the first place. This is who they're engaging in surveillance with. The cockroaches come out and show themselves gang stalking under the fake sun as I document them. And this is why they're focusing on me, following me from place to place in helicopters. Edwards is going to federal prison. All right, he engaged in kidnapping with Starbucks, just like she was gang stalking at Starbucks as well, stalking with light, with a smile on her face. That's a psychopath, special needs, engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct because you're supposed to be ignorant about how the pattern of conduct is executed. You now know, and she's going to federal prison. This is impunity while she is threatening an American citizen by virtue of the identity of law enforcement stalking in the path in the demonic terrorizing environment. The city of Ontario is engaging in amplified audible activity while I'm documenting, and they know exactly what I'm documenting, while they maintain surveillance on all my devices, and doing so in the absurdly demonic and psychopathic manner of being under a fake sun, which is how you know they're all stalking, because I document the people of the state and I document the Ontario Police Department maintaining a fake sun while they're stalking throughout the city of Ontario. And this is not shared in a natural environment with LAPD, who's engaging in gang stalking using helicopters, in a manner and in a location that this demon is not sharing, which is speaking to her targeting, the department targeting, and Los Angeles PD targeting, and the city of LA targeting. It is currently 6:56 a.m. Again, I want you to be clear. I told you at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue that they're going to federal prison. She is, while she's engaging in what is surveillance in the engineered environment. This is the same C Street where I'm documenting the pattern of conduct, C Street and Palm in particular, where the fake sun is remaining, and I've documented this whole area. The fake sun is here in the afternoon. The fake sun is here setting. The entity has steps away police training at C Street and Euclid, where the fake sun is still present on that street at 6:10 p.m. And this department is stalking by helicopter. License 1706919, vehicle 1129. This psychopath is going to federal prison, and she's done with law enforcement. All right, and the Ontario Police is being disbanded. Their mental illness is proven through the conduct of stalking an American citizen, and doing so while wearing police badges, which is the intent and furtherance of a conspiracy to murder and kidnap, where they have those perfect circumstances in order to do so and control the narrative while they are stalking and calling it law enforcement. There is a difference, and the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department is going to be the lesson to the United States in that. All right, they're engaged in criminal conduct, and this is a totally maniacal, unhinged psychopath while she's engaged in what is the pattern of conduct with the people of the state, which does not help them. They're stalking with the police department where they live. Starbucks engaging in kidnapping with the Ontario Police Department pursuant to ceaseless gang stalking is exactly why the entity is going to federal prison. Ocean's going to federal prison. Elena, Amelia, Patty, Brian, they're going to federal prison for kidnapping on July 4th, 2025, engaged in targeting with the Ontario Police Department, who are continuously and have continuously provided evidence as to what Starbucks has been engaged in. And I was documenting this same pattern of conduct both before they engaged in kidnapping on July 4th and since the July 4th kidnapping. This is P.O.C. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison, gang stalking and targeting me with the Ontario Police, who are unintelligent and cannot surround with any actual evidence of mental illness when they're stealing property in the first place and using a secret conservatorship in order to do so. The Ontario Police is the is that which the corrupt courts have relied on while they're targeting. That's not a coincidence, and the courts are not ignorant about that. This is public corruption. And gang stalkers of police departments, they go to federal prison. Gang stalking police officers are going straight to federal prison. It is currently 6:58 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, that's the entity gang stalking, following and tracking my steps. This is what the Ontario, like I stated, this is what you'll see them doing, for example, when I'm coming from Starbucks or any venue. I'm just using Starbucks because that's literally where I was. I was documenting. The entity was keeping the fake sun over the Starbucks, but somehow it's over me at this church parking lot right now in the morning. But when I'm sitting stationary, and you're seeing that same demon, by the way, with Corey Watson, documented kidnapper, that's an ongoing intentional threat as well by a stalker who's keeping your evidence under surveillance, is at the same Starbucks. When I'm sitting there and the sun does not move, what is over me in this parking lot where this demon is stalking in the parking lot is not visible through the windows of the Starbucks. That specific environment that follows you is evidence of what is gang stalking, and it's demonic. This is not only a criminal, wearing a uniform that's indicating law enforcement, that is speaking to lawlessness. This is speaking to corruption, and that's an unlawful threat to your life, both an express and implied threat to your life, because the Ontario Police are heavily documented stalking me day and night in helicopters, repeatedly kidnapping me and making false allegations in doing so, targeting me with the people of the state. They're going to federal prison, and you're also witnessing somebody that is demon possessed. And these are the same demons that you see at Starbucks under a stationary fake sun that would never be over C Street and Palm, over this building where this demon is proven to be engaged in gang stalking in that specific environment. You're looking at the demon possessed that are going to be summarily removed from their positions. No gang stalking mayors remaining in office. All right, and gang stalking police officers go to federal prison.
All right, and the entity is going, all you're doing is witnessing the ongoing prosecution and conviction of those that are going to be subject to that regardless, and that's literally the federal policy. And the entity is also going to be subject to federal prison. Starbucks employees are not aided by this evidence that I'm going to submit against every employee and the corporation because I'm going to prosecute civilly and criminally. They are going to federal prison. License 9PZF062. Because this is what they're doing when Ontario Police is inside a Starbucks ordering drinks in the engineer light under the fake sun. They're monitoring. 8JDC516, and this is what they're doing when they're claiming that they're there to remove me from the venue under laws that they don't have authority under. It's not private property, and you don't have a right to engage in expelling someone because you are engaged in criminal surveillance. That's called obstruction of justice. That's psychopaths, special needs people who are corrupt and delusional practice, and the government is engaging in that, and that's a repeated act of kidnapping pursuant to knowledge that they're being documented because they're engaged in surveillance on communication devices as well. And it includes that specific third party who was stalking with Corey Watson inside of the Corey Watson was stalking inside the library, but those two were gang stalking at the OVITT family, at the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. All right, these demons in the parking lot are engaging in gang stalking. It's the same Ontario police under the fake sun, claiming police training that they're doing. Again, like I've documented, police training is being surrounded. She's sitting in a vacant parking lot over here, and the Ontario police are pacing back and forth at the fake Vos Church at 303 North Euclid Avenue. This is surrounding by that department. That's not police training, and this demon's not engaged in police training. She's stalking in the vacant parking lot while I'm documenting the people of the state where they live, which is confirmation that the people of the state are stalking where they live. A license 8SZG560, but I've already proven that. All right, the entity is engaged in what is ongoing, obvious stalking because the Ontario police has already given up, and they already know that it is over, and it has been over for a very long time. By the way, the entity has been engaged in targeting in corrupt courts, prolonging, suspending justice, which is inevitable, and doing so is relevant to what is nothing other than enhancement to years in prison, what is enhancement to damages. But the case against the state of California, and specifically departments to be disbanded, you will see in the evidence that it was proven years ago, while I've been subject to repeated kidnappings, while sex offenders, psychopaths like Jason Isaac Fields are in court defaming my name and character behind my back, while this department's kidnapping and making up reasons as to why they have authority to kidnap in the first place, which they're making up while they're stalking me, with the people of the state. All right, making up information about mental illness that doesn't exist while they're stalking with the people of the state. Making up, understand it's relevant because they could have just engaged in kidnapping and kept me as a so-called criminal. But the reason why they went to the extent to defame my character of being mentally ill is because Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, the state of California, sought to, through a secret conservatorship, try to establish me on paper while they're stalking and monitoring, gang stalking and targeting with this corrupt police department. The reason why they went to that extent is specific to theft of property through a secret conservatorship, something criminally procured through fraud, because the government is engaged in what is public corruption, which you already know that when a police department is stalking and monitoring and keeping you outside of your rights. That's not merely a false imprisonment. That's an intentional, a deliberate, malicious act targeting an American citizen pursuant to a greater unlawful objective, which was theft of my money, theft of my real property, my intellectual property, which also incriminates this same department and the state of California. And they went to that extent because the entity is engaged in what is using a secret conservatorship, an invalid instrument criminally procured, relying on the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police Department. Okay, that's why they went to that extent. And it's not a coincidence that the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department shared in that, mimicked that, which is totally unsupported by evidence. They are also engaging in what is far out of any sort of acting in conformity to the laws and policies that they are governed by. That's also not a coincidence that they also happen to be violating the rules and the which and way you mental health court runs, engaging what is making up hearings when I was never a part of any hearings. I know nothing about what they're doing. They're just keeping me in jail, not having any court hearings, not telling me any information. They're merely on cameras in their facilities, taking me in and out, which makes it look like they're taking me to court, and all they're doing is gang stalking me, which you know is happening. The fake send over the vehicle to the court. The fake son sits over the court all day. I sit there chained up in a basement in the court until the end of the day. Okay, that's over 9 hours, and then they take me back to the jail, West Valley, where you saw the fake son over that West Valley Detention Center in Rancho Cucamonga, where the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking, and there's no son that's ever over the 9500 Etiwanda Avenue, speaking to targeting, again, the specific environment and the criminal conduct, the deviation from the standards that the laws require that these departments abide by, and they're not. They're clearly not, and they're also proven to be demons who are targeting. This is speaking to what is the motivation behind the going to the extent to not just kidnap. Then you're throwing in, what is this mental illness nonsense? Where does this come from? That's where that's coming from. Using a secret conservatorship, trying to help Tracy Banks, and it didn't help. So this entire operation is being shut down, and the Ontario police are being disbanded. All right. Documenting again in the same parking lot with her partners. She's sitting stalking in the vacant parking lot under the fake sun, and the entity is present in the morning at 7:05 a.m. calling at police training 14459E4. This is the same Ontario police. I'm actually going to do a specific section with this one. It's 7:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, Ontario Police engaged in gang stalking in relevant position at 303 North Euclid Avenue. They're doing so under the fake sun. These are demons that are, again, going to be removed from law enforcement. They are currently using the guise of law enforcement, which is an unlawful threat, while, again, the corruption of the executive branch is serving for what is domestic terrorism. While they're demons, they are the special needs population stalking by helicopter day and night. That's exactly what you're listening to, doing it under a fake sun, while they're also engaged in what is the unprecedented act of keeping the evidence of their criminal conduct, of their terrorism, of their sexual violence under surveillance, and it's directly incriminating to the people of the state as well, who are gang stalking in this unintelligent system that has already been laid out. So their partner is gang stalking in the vacant parking lot while the fake sun's in alignment to me. And remember, the fake sun is in alignment and it stays here 10 hours later when they remove the sign of police training. All right, when they stop stalking in the path in this particular building, because they're always stalking in the path. This is how you're understanding the fact that they're not just stalking, but they're demon possessed. And this is public corruption of the entire entity, not just these demons who are engaged in gang stalking. This is light activity, which we'll see what I'm capturing images of. They're elongated shadows. They're not under the natural environment. LAPD is not targeting me in the same natural environment. The fake sun is in alignment to me, which is where you're identifying demons who are stalking. Wearing uniforms is relevant to federal prison. License 9DCY664, 8XLP 393. License plate 8Z44625, and where you're seeing the fake sun in this parking lot, it's not at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where this department engaged in kidnapping. Ocean, Amelia, Brian, Patty, Elena are going to federal prison for kidnapping. All right, that's the entity gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport, where there is no terminals where they're taking off. So that's the same P.O.C. That's what the Ontario International Airport is doing in the afternoon, where this same department is across the street under a 1:07 p.m. fake sun, gang stalking. This is the Ontario Police Department that's already given up. They already know that they don't have a case, so they're just openly stalking now, openly being demons, which is the point in the first place. This is a concession by Satan, who already knows that he lost. 1496947, and this police department is not engaged in law enforcement. Stalking is not law enforcement, and they're being disbanded. AZ60X20, 1496945, vehicle 1842. Stalking with the Ontario International Airport. There's no terminals over here, Terminal 2, Terminal 4. This is, again, rudimentary, very simple, very plain, straightforward. And it's also straightforward stalking. The entities engaged in this law, they are aware that they're being documented. All right? They are all aware that they're being documented. As a whole department of stalkers. Keeping my vagina under surveillance. 1496947. Sex offenders are disqualified from being in law enforcement. Stalkers, gang stalkers in particular, are not remaining in law enforcement, and you're also going to federal prison with your hands on the American citizen if you're stalking, doing so under the guise of engaging in what is when it's the P.O.C. 2842182. These are the sex offenders gang stalking and mandating that, and they are engaged in obviously stalking when I'm documenting them, and now you're looking at them conceding to the fact that they are caught as a bunch of demons who are violent sex offenders and not engaged in law enforcement. They are embarrassment to actual law enforcement, and you're still stalking in the parking lot right now. I've documented this demon before, gang stalking at B&G Plaza. He's still obsessed with me and monitoring my vagina, so you can take a good look at that. This is Title 18, federal stalking in violation of the federal stalking statute, doing so under the fake sun. This is P.O.C., and this is, again, the special needs population. This is the department that's stalking with helicopters. And this is how they behave when they're caught engaging in criminal conduct, all right? But it's not going to be funny when you're going to federal prison. That's P.O.C. Bearing weapons while you're engaging gang stalking, federal prison. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. 8 MUF144, X2 MC8. That's the pattern of conduct that the engaging gang. This is 303 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is still here. And this demon, he's purple, this purple individual over here is representing corrupt law enforcement. He's gang stalking on the record, engaging criminal summoning at B&G Plaza, which I documented before 2025. He's engaged in what is stalking, using the resources of a corrupt police department, just like he is gang stalking now. And they're literally tracking my steps. This is the demon that's stalking in the path. They're pacing. These are demons. License, 1510461, vehicle 1861. They're pacing right now. All right, and I want to be clear, while they're engaging in what is stalking in the path and holding up their cameras, these are the demons that are obsessing over my social media because they know what I've exposed about them. And the demons who are mentally ill, the special needs, they resort, this is the public safety concern, not only because the police department is stalking and failing and trying to gang stalk somebody and make them appear one way on paper. The Ontario Police Department has failed and Satan has failed. But they are engaged in what is obsessing over my social media as I expose them. Standing in my face right now was a means of them stalking. That's how obsessed they are. That's how focused they are. Don't be distracted by that. And I've already documented that particular felon. He is going to federal prison. So you can easily identify them. This is all criminal conduct. This is speaking to targeting by this same department that uses helicopters day and night under a whole fake sun. That's evidence of what is their mental illness. Direct evidence of their mental illness and the malice of that department. Mike LORENZ, this is somebody that's being removed from position just like Alan D. Wapner and Michael GERKEN and the demons that are gang stalking under the corrupt and dangerous leadership of Paul Leon. No gang stalking mayors are remaining in office and gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. All right, these are violent sex offenders and I've been documenting them for years and they know that. They're all aware of the videos that I documented. They're aware of when I document their license plates. They're aware of the videos that I have that I'm still publishing online. And this is the entity calling it police training, and the fake sun is still here 10 hours from now. All right, so again, what the Ontario Police refer to as police training, this is what you're looking at, the specific environment, which you will see at 7:11 a.m. The entity's fake sun is still here 10 hours from now, understanding the pattern of conduct where the demon-possessed are engaged in what is feigning law enforcement, because this is not law enforcement. And they are the ones engaged in what is repeatedly kidnapping. While the fake sun is over me right here, and their partner is stalking in the vacant parking lot over there, engaging what is monitoring with, while I'm documenting the people of the state, the entity is engaging in what is the direct evidence of stalking as a corrupt department. So I'm capturing you from that, you'll see that uploaded to Google Drive. All right, this is POC license 97443L3. This is license, those are the demons that are stalking as audible activity under the fake sun, 44563P3. This is the entity that's stalking me, talking about me going away, they're gang stalking me. That's the demons that are monitoring my vagina, talking about go away when they're stalking me everywhere that I go. License 9MBW405. This is what you're looking at when they're engaging stalking, talking about go away. That's him off. That's the entity that's under the fake sun, stalking under the fake sun, the creating light activity. That's the federal case. They're going to federal prison. Stalking with impossible light while opening and closing the front door. The fake sun is here at 4 o'clock in the evening. This is the entity under the fake sun at 4 o'clock in the evening. All right, that's audible activity. All of that is audible activity. Opening and closing the doors, these are demons pacing, creating activity. License 1496948. This is what Tracy Banks says. Impossible light across the wall. These are demons monitoring. These are demons monitoring. All right, they're monitoring while they are pacing around. This is mental illness. This is special needs. The same people in state engaging in the gang stalking under the fake sun, they're monitoring in real time, talking about go away, audible activity, while you're stalking me. Okay, that's relevant to the prosecution and the diagnosis of the demon-possessed that are being removed from corrupt law enforcement in Ontario, California. This is the removal of Paul Leon. He's being removed. And monitoring with the people, 9FHM657. P.O.C. Impossible light is moving across this building. You already know what the entity is doing at Starbucks, opening and closing the door, and impossible light moves across the floor. Those are demons who are monitoring. This is audible activity while this demon is walking in engineered light. All right, gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. And this is the pathetic and embarrassing conduct of sex offenders. They're all monitoring my vagina. This is what they keep under surveillance, is my vagina. And they're embarrassed while I continuously show them stalking me. And they're concerned with me. And the proof of that is a whole fake sun that's over them while they call stalking law enforcement and police training. Mike LORENZ is being removed, and they're all done with law enforcement. License 7RTJ334. This is embarrassment to law enforcement. They are sex offenders and stalkers, and by the way, they are all oppressed with demon possession, all of them. While they're making audible activity and crossing paths. That's audible activity while he's crossing paths. You'll see it in images right now. That's monitoring by the Ontario Police Department. These are the unintelligent imps of the Ontario Police Department, gang stalking. This is what is so pathetic about them. This is pathetic. That's monitoring. All right, I'm capturing images of them gang stalking the path. This is what the people stay doing. They're doing it under the fake sun that's still here 10 hours later. This is the entity that's hostile because I'm exposing them. They're already proven to be stalkers and sex offenders. All right, that's the significance. And the license plate of this demon that you'll see in images, this is MROS, license plate 8717R87. That's on the Ford Super Duty, using that as light activity under the fake sun, monitoring. That's a federal case. They're all monitoring. This is the Ontario Police gang stalking. This is P.O.C. And this is where the Ontario International Airport at C Street in Euclid at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The fake sun is still here. And the Ontario Police Department are demons who are stalking, okay? Engaging in that conduct while they're being documented. They've already conceded that they've lost. This is pathetic. This is pathetic conduct of the entity that's hostile to documentation. This is P.O.C. That's P.O.C. 9MBW 405. All right, these are the demons that are monitoring under a fake sun. This is demon possession. This is gang stalking, not police training. This is relevant positioning, light activity, and audible activity in violation of federal stalking statute, Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2. Gang stalking police officers who are mentally ill based on their behavioral pattern and their demeanors while they're engaging in gang stalking is supposed to be that which is occurring through strangers. It's supposed to be that which you're imagining. The Ontario Police Department gang stalking daily using helicopters, using the resources of a police department under a fake sun. This same venue is where the entity is maintaining the fake sun 10 hours later, right here at C Street in Euclid. This is where the entity is gang stalking and using that vehicle as a federal violation of the law while they're engaged in federal stalking. This is P.O.C. This is the sidewalk, and I'm standing on public property, and you're monitoring right now, and you're not going to threaten me while I'm standing on public property, and you're here gang stalking. You don't even have authority. While you're concerned with monitoring my vagina all day long under a fake sun, and you're hostile, you're sitting over here laughing like idiots, and they're going to be disbanded. This is Mike LORENZ criminal conduct. He's being removed from office, and Paul Leon's being removed from office while a bunch of psychopaths are engaging in state surveillance in Ontario. And their partner's stalking in the vacant parking lot. She's going to federal prison as well. This is the entity that's targeting with Tracy Banks, engaging in criminal summoning. She's going to federal prison. Gang stalking with Starbucks under a fake sun that's not over that venue, engaging in kidnapping because I'm documenting these demons, stalking under a fake sun, and they're going to federal prison. This is the demon that's stalking in the path. This is gang stalking. This is a psychopath. This is a demon, and they all are. This is not the sun. This is C Street in Euclid when they're maintaining the fake sun 10 hours later, stalking in the path at the OVITT Family Community Library, and it's at the same location. That's the P.O.C. Everything that they're stating is audible activity. This is light activity while they're driving in it, while they're walking in it, using their car alarms in it, and the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking with them over it. This is the city of Ontario that's engaged in that P.O.C. This is the pathetic department. This is not law enforcement. This is stalking. All right, and there's going to be a difference that's going to be made, and the rest of the country is going to watch them be embarrassed. They're already embarrassed, watching my evidence online. Engaged in federal stalking. Engaged in federal stalking. While you're bearing weapons, you don't look tough. You look like a bunch of punks who are scared. That's why you're laughing when you really are embarrassed. And you should be. You should be very embarrassed because it's shameful. Is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong? All right, like I said, you're a stalker. This is literally stalking. This is what they do in buildings. This is called stalking in the path. This is a demon. That's what's wrong with him. This is the P.O.C. though. These are hostile demons that hide behind smiles on their face, and there's nothing funny about what I'm documenting right now. Nothing. This is P.O.C. It is currently, again, 7:18 a.m. This is 303 North Euclid Avenue, using this venue as a means of stalking in the path. These are a bunch of stalkers who do not have any threatening potent power. They're gang stalking me in helicopters and using resources of a police department to engage in surveillance. Stalking. That's P.O.C. And the people of the state are going to federal prison for gang stalking with them. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. These are a bunch of embarrassed sex offenders who are all over the internet stalking me, who don't have a legitimate basis in federal court. This is what the corrupt courts are relying on when they're engaging in criminal defamation, trying to use secret conservatorships, and the criminal conduct of a targeting police department, which equals federal prison. All right, this is the entity's failure, and this is the department that Tracy Banks summoned. These psychopaths, these stalkers, while she's engaged in criminal summoning and making up information while they share in what is the pattern of conduct. What you are seeing through, what is the fake sun? All right here, license 9GJW563 is targeting with them. This is pacing. And they're doing this while the fake sun is rising and setting at the TABOR Professional Building, where the Ontario Police last night are stalking in helicopters, and psychopaths who are demon-possessed, they engage in what is smiling and laughing and coking and joking like nothing is happening because they're delusional psychopaths. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:19 a.m. where the fake son's still going to be here 10 hours later, and you're documenting this because this is relevant to diagnosis and it's relevant to prosecution. This is P.O.C., okay? I want to be clear. At Euclid and C Street. This is P.O.C. All right, you're listening to the video of me documenting a bunch of sex offenders. You're looking at this demon who's pacing while I'm walking. He's stalking in the path. All right, that's the Ontario Police Department under the fake sun that's still going to be here, engaging in what is gang stalking and calling it police training. They're stalking in the path and they're monitoring my vagina with the sex offenders who are the people of the state, and their partner is in the vacant parking lot. She's going to federal prison, and this entire department is being disbanded. The entity that is embarrassed engages in what you'll see on video, cheesing, like something's funny when they're already proven as a bunch of stalkers. That's embarrassing to law enforcement officers. They're the ones that call themselves capable, that they think that a bunch of losers, a bunch of demons, a bunch of inferior creatures are going to overwhelm or bully me, and it's not. I've proven through a body of evidence that they're obsessively stalking and that they're demons doing so in an irreconcilable environment. LAPD is also providing evidence against these sex offenders who are under the fake sun right now, which is not going to be through my living room window at Alvarado Gardens. This is the disbanding of that Ontario Police, and stalking with them is license 7PZU262, 54558S3, 8WVC 951. This is criminal surveillance that's shared with the Ontario International Airport that flew right over that building under the fake sun, and the fake sun remains here for the whole population to share in criminal surveillance, and that's why the demons at Ontario Starbucks are going to federal prison. License plate 9GWV188, license plate 8BXM381, 5KJH513, A977AO, license plate 6NPB000. That's the entity that's gang stalking with the corrupt Ontario Police Department. That's not a police department. All right, so you're looking at a bunch of demons who are surrounded by evidence and all that they can do, because there's no intelligent response to the criminal conduct that they're engaged in and the evidence of a criminal conduct, which has to be proven, and I've already proven it, that the fact that they're gang stalkers and they're demons in doing so. All right, the entity is engaged in gang stalking in real time while you're looking at them crossing the street, using the car alarm, talking about go away. It's all audible activity under a fake sun that's going to sit over the same intersection 10 hours from now, which I already have on the record as well. They're engaging gang stalking and calling it what is the business of a corrupt police department. They're being disbanded for repeatedly kidnapping because they are fearful. They don't find it funny. They're fearful of what it is that I publish online, and that's why they've engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping upon necessarily making up information in order to support. That's what they engaged in on May 29, 2025, which is why Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. While her co-defendants are caught engaging in what is gang stalking and calling it police training, she's going to federal prison. While her co-defendants are engaged in stalking me day and night in helicopters, following around in the specific environment at that, Tracy Banks is going to federal prison, and so is her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, and so is everybody else in reliance on the gang stalking conduct of the City of Ontario, betting on my being dead, betting on my being locked up in a facility somewhere and criminally defamed, bearing false witness in order to steal my property and my money. They're going to federal prison, every single last one of them. All right, and the entity, I want to be clear, they don't find it funny. You just saw a bunch of demons that are failing at what is supposed to be the outward demeanor of gang stalking by strangers, and those that are legitimately engaged in whatever they call themselves doing. It's relevant positioning, a light activity. Gang stalking, license plate 9RDD076, coming out of the parking garage that has engineer light all over the ceiling, and that's where the Ontario police are clearly gang stalking and keeping a smile on their face and laughing, because this is what the demons, this is literally how Satan is outwardly conducting himself, even when he is proven in the face of evidence. Those are psychopaths. Those are the same psychopaths that are stalking with helicopters. Those are the same psychopaths that are surrounded, blood all over their hands, and still denying it. That's why you're going to prosecute based on the evidence, not on the delusional and psychopathic behavioral patterns and personality disorders of the demon-possessed who are gang stalking. That's a special needs. That's a special needs condition that is a threat to the public. All right, so that evidence is going to be published on the internet, and you're going to pay attention with regard to just analysis, because you're prosecuting with the superseding environment. I'm at the Ontario Town's Court where the Ontario Montclair School District was gang stalking on Saturday morning. The entity kept the fake sign all day long, which is what I documented. The Ontario Police Department is gang stalking, calling it police training. The people of the state are gang stalking, calling it a summer school festival. They're doing so in the specific environment, and they are monitoring my vagina. And what does that sex offender that's embarrassed by that evidence, because I don't just say stuff and I haven't already proven it, Satan laughs because Satan is embarrassed, and Satan maintains a outward demeanor of being nonchalant. Satan is a delusional psychopath. Satan is a spirit that's using every single last one of those puppets that are being removed from law enforcement. All right, so that's why you're looking at what is the inappropriate response with regard to serious allegations of gang stalking, and you will see that shared. And many of those demons are the ones that know that I already caught them on video. I've already documented them. They're hostile while they're listening to me tell them, because they're keeping my evidence under surveillance. They're listening to me tell them, and they're hostile to it. Authority, as I'm laying down the law, you're going to federal prison for gang stalking, as I've documented them under the fake sun. The same location, 2 different officers, for example, and the fake sun is over me in the morning, and the fake sun is over me at the same location in the evening. They're going to federal prison. They're gang stalking right now and calling it police training, and the demon-possessed who are hostile, who are necessarily going to maintain that sort of demeanor because you're not supposed to act like you're angry. This is, again, the entity seeking to engage in what is socially acceptable, except for it's not even socially acceptable to find it humorous when you have serious allegations about what is targeting. The entity is engaging in what else can you do when you're surrounded with hundreds of videos of stalking one person in helicopters, stalking one person as a department, engaging in what is clear acts of kidnapping against somebody that has never been a criminal and somebody that suffers no mental illness. And so the inability to reconcile these acts that they've committed with the heavily documented people of the state, including Tracy Banks, the evidence of targeting by the state, the evidence of targeting by the people of the state, and you're caught on video. And I want to be clear, they get in the path. They chose to do that. They know exactly where I'm walking. They're tracking my steps, and the evidence, your knowledge of that, is the fake sun that's over the same intersection where it's present at 6:10 in the evening. Yes, they're stalking. They're stalking, and they're also stalking because they're hostile, because I'm going through the neighborhood and documenting the people of the state by address. And by the way, that includes 321 FERN Avenue, gang stalking with the Ontario Police. That includes what is 404 West C Street, gang stalking with the police. And the entities doing so, the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department are gang stalking, 404 West C Street and 321 Fern Avenue, gang stalking, engaging one is monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, while the fake sun is remaining as I walk down the street for street and turn for turn. And a bunch of demons who are wearing police uniforms, who don't have anything that you can intelligently respond with, engaging in what is harassment, using their car alarms to monitor while they're pacing around. This demon on the sidewalk, he was literally tracking my steps as I'm moving. I'm not moving forward. He's not protecting anybody. I'm on public property as well. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm documenting. They are threatening me. This is understanding psychological torture. And that's literally them gang stalking, what you saw, a demon that is stalking in the path. And they're doing so while they're hostile to being documented and trying even to exercise authority that they don't have. They don't even have it when you're in what the entity wants to be mistaken for private property. It's not private property. It's a facilitating venue where they're gang stalking. You're going to enforce the rights under federal law with regard to criminal surveillance by the state. You're not protected in your home. You're not protected at any business establishment. And you're also engaging in what is obstruction of justice in the ways in which I've shown Starbucks is with this gang stalking entity, the public entity, which Starbucks is a part of. They're going to federal prison while you're seeing them under the fake sun that's not in alignment with the windows of Starbucks at 507 and Euclid Avenue, where the entity engaging in surveillance of my evidence committed kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice and harass and terrorize me because they're mad that they're being documented, period. But you don't have a right to engage in surveillance with the Ontario Police Department. All right, the entity's engaging in this, and this is all corroborating evidence that's already sitting on the record for people who are already subject to federal prison with regard to the pattern of conduct that I've already spoken to and documented the entity engaging in with that same department. And they are getting in the path, tracking my steps, just like the Ontario Police on the same street at the OVITT Family Community Library at 1:07 p.m. when I'm coming from Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, by the way. And the entity has the fake sun over me, coming from a different direction, walking south on Euclid Avenue, and the entity is maintaining the fake sun like I'm documenting. I believe that was June 26 or June 27, 2025. And 1:07 p.m., the entity is keeping a fake sun in the same manner at this location where the entity is gang stalking. You're looking at a bunch of demons smiling and laughing like as though it's funny when they're being documented for gang stalking. And there's nothing funny about that. Understand, they don't even find it humorous. They're very much hostile. This is why the entity is stalking every night, flying in circles over my head in helicopter. When I refer to the Starbucks Corporation, the entity starts flying in circles over my head in helicopter. These demons do not find it funny. Those are psychopaths that are maintaining a demeanor that they know that you're going to observe, but it's also highly unpersuasive. Those are psychopaths engaging in what they think is socially acceptable while they are being captured on camera, and they chose to do it, and it's very foolish conduct. The fake sun sits there long after the quote-unquote Ontario police training is over, just like the Ontario Montclair School District. Long after their summer school fest is over, where did that fake sun go? It remained at this same venue, showing the pattern of conduct of stalking by an entity under a fake sun, the special needs population. Who was targeting? All right, and they're targeting in that specific environment, which I've shown, and the hallmark is using helicopters to do so. The entity gang stalking by the Ontario Police is the City of Ontario's ongoing concession, and they included gang stalking by flying specifically over that building on C Street with the Ontario International Airport, doing so as a means of audible. Like, that's literally the demons, the puppets of the Ontario Police engaging with the people of the state are doing all day long as I document them, while they're stalking inside of the building of the library, while they're stalking inside of the building of the Starbucks, while they're stalking inside of the building of the Stater Brothers grocery store, while they're stalking inside of the building of Tracy Banks' apartment, that entire apartment complex, units 48 through 64. They're stalking while the entity keeps a fake sun over each of the venues that I've documented, and the Ontario International Airport flies over that venue where there is no Terminal 2 or Terminal 4, where you're flying in that direction, at that elevation, at that noise level. They are targeting with the entity, and that's exactly what the Ontario Police Department is doing at 303 North Euclid Avenue under the 7 a.m. fake sun, and it's still there as I'm documenting at 6 in the evening. All right, and the entity is doing so when I'm just documenting. You're hearing and witnessing the Ontario Police gang stalking on a daily basis. Nobody forgets about that when you're looking at a bunch of psychopaths who are hostile, and psychopaths hide their hostility by engaging in passive-aggressive conduct. They were monitoring at the same time that they're smiling like it's funny, and it's nothing funny. Those are demons. That's the demon-possessed. They are being removed from law enforcement. They're being disbanded, and that's also not funny, while you saw them engaging in what is activity creation under that fake sun, including the harassment of everything that they're stating and what they're doing, and they're also simultaneously hostile because I am confronting those demons in their face, which I have a full right. Any American citizen has a right to do that, by the way. I don't advocate that. I don't think that you should do that. The entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct against me, and they thought that their witchcraft and their sex rituals and their voodoo and their defamation was going to be effective, and it's not. They're going to federal prison. And they're also an example as to how you're legislating around surveillance that's underway in this country and targeting American citizens pursuant to the surveillance system, where corrupt law enforcement agencies are a critical aspect of it. And when you're engaging in kidnapping, gang stalking as police officers, you're going to be disbanded. You're going to federal prison for gang stalking as police officers, period. And the Ontario Police Department are always demonstrating as to why. Okay, those are a bunch of ignoramuses, and they don't have anything else to do but smile and laugh because they can't spell Constitution, and they're mad because I'm embarrassing them because they are keeping my vagina under surveillance. They are obsessively stalking me, and they're not only obsessed because they're demons, they're obsessed because their demonic pattern of conduct didn't work against me, and their demons, the demons that are using them, are obsessed with me because of that as well. All right, so that's the reality of what's actually going on, and their mental illness is going to be diagnosed based on their behavioral pattern, the conduct that you witnessed them engaging in. Stalking under a fake sun, stalking amongst engineered light. Those demons were opening and closing the closed doors to monitor. Engineered light swiping all across the walls while they're monitoring. And they're at the same time wearing police uniforms, laughing and coking and joking as though they're not taking it seriously, while they are engaged in saying things out loud such as go away, and everything that they're doing is monitoring. Those are demons, and they're psychopathic. They're very much unintelligent, but this is, again, they're requiring people that are not able to pay attention to the level of detail, people that are not privy to how monitoring is executed, that are ignorant about the specific environment where it's happening, and that are going to be intimidated by what they're representing, which is a corrupt police department. And none of these demons are intimidating whatsoever. So what does Satan do when none of those tactics work? Laugh. That's it. That's all. Okay, the city of Ontario is stalking in the path of peculiarized light. The same exact population of demons, special needs, who are stalking with impossible light, are monitoring with the Ontario Police, who are under a fake sun, demonstrating mental instability, demonstrating special needs status, heavily documented gang stalking, and repeatedly kidnapping because I have bullied them with evidence, and their hostility has resulted in repeated kidnappings for which they're going to federal prison. It's as simple as that. Satan doesn't have anything to do but stand there and smile and laugh like it's funny. And they're actually very highly hostile toward it. And the entities engaging in this pattern of conduct, which is the pattern of conduct of psychopaths that are being exposed for this gang stalking system, which the demon-possessed are very much embarrassed by. They're embarrassed for being caught gang stalking. They're embarrassed for being shown and proven as demons. They're embarrassed for being sex offenders that are obsessed with my vagina. They're embarrassed because I've documented them better than their income competent law enforcement skills because they're not engaged in law enforcement, and I have single-handedly proven them to be criminals, and they're supposed to be the ones that are acting like they're law enforcement. They're embarrassed for all of the above. That's the reality of what's happening right now. That's the reality of what you just witnessed, and I've documented most of them gang stalking me. That's also why they're laughing, while they're actually concealing hostility, seething rage. Okay, but like I said, I'm getting past the veneer, and you're looking at what controls the Ontario International Airport, flying over where there's no terminals whatsoever, clearly targeting. That's audible activity by demons that are monitoring, and they're wearing police uniforms. The entity is doing so in engineer light while they're present in the specific environment. The body of evidence that even precedes 2025. The fake sun is at that same intersection at 4 and 5 o'clock in the evening, where they're stalking in the path as a population, and they're wearing police uniforms, where they're engaged in federal stalking, where they're engaged in what is monitoring pursuant to the ongoing surveillance of my evidence. They're under the fake sun that's remaining, and I'm documenting the gang stalking police officers who are under that fake sun in the afternoon, and who are under the fake sun in the evening, and they're going to federal prison as well. Okay, this is at 7:35 a.m. where the entity is maintaining that light source, and the city of Ontario is monitoring through this demon-possessed landscaper who is representing the entity that is still gang stalking. They're not engaged in police training. They're maintaining the activity around me, and they're doing so under a fake sun that's not over the Starbucks, and it's not over Woodside Senior Apartments. The sun is not over Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, where LAPD is stalking day and night in helicopters, just like the Ontario Police Department. It's not over what is the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where I'm documenting the entity keeping a fake sun rising over me, where I would sleep there and wake up in the morning, where the Ontario Police, their obsession with me and their gang stalking me is already proven. Those demons who are surrounded and bullied with evidence merely resulted in what is smiling on camera, because what else do you do when you've already lost? You obviously engage in stalking. What else do you do? Other than just keep on doing what you're doing, because it's already been, the narrative has already been shattered. The illusion certainly is not there. They're the delusional ones who are surrounded with evidence, and so are the people of the state. Because everybody kidnapping with the Ontario Police, which includes Tracy Banks, the Starbucks personnel, and Woodside Senior Apartments, they're going to federal prison. And the Ontario Police Department are laughing about it like it's funny. They're going to federal prison as well, and it's not funny. They also don't find the body of evidence that I have all over the internet funny either. They're engaged in monitoring in real time while you're seeing them getting in my face with their phones, while you're seeing them trying to stay in my line of path on the sidewalk while I'm on public property. They're engaging in what is monitoring. This is what the entity is doing inside a building, stalking in the path. That's what they were doing. They're not engaging in what is yes, they are hostile because I'm documenting them. The demons don't like being all over the internet. Law enforcement does not like to be proven as criminals. They're supposed to be the ones that's championing that, and they lost in that as well. I've embarrassed them in that regard as well. But they're literally demons who are stalking in the path while you're looking at them doing that. Don't be distracted by that purple demon holding up a phone in my face. He was monitoring. That's a demon stalking in the path. The demon that was stalking in the path while I'm on the sidewalk, he was stalking in the path, moving as I move. That's what the demon possessed do under the engineered light. You're already mindful of the entity stalking and under a fake sun that remains over me from the beginning until the end of the day. Where's the fake sun going to be at 6 p.m. today? It's going to be right over me still. That was gang stalking by the Ontario Police Department, and it's not funny. Those demons are psychopaths. They are the special needs, and their behavior is entirely unnatural, and it's relevant to diagnosing them. Everything that I just captured on video and on podcast. It's going to be used to diagnose dangerous psychopaths who are entirely unfit for law enforcement. And they're monitoring at the Ontario Town Square while that landscaper was pacing around me under a fake sun that remains as I walk past the Ontario Police, who are engaging in crossing a path and activity creation. Doing so while dressing up, Satan is dressing up in costumes like they're law enforcement, and they're exercising authority like they're law enforcement. But the Constitution is actually real and it has substance, regardless of the fact that they're abusing it. I'm going to prosecute in the way in which the law is actually designed to work. And they're going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring. They're being disbanded for repeatedly kidnapping upon state targeting, and they are engaged in what is going to federal. They're going to federal prison for kidnapping and failing at trying to engineer a criminal record and mental illness on paper while they're stalking me. And that's literally what this video evidence is proving. This is what Tracy Banks was relying on. This is what Jason Isaac Fields was relying on. So like I stated, it's currently 7:38 a.m. This is not landscaping at the Ontario Town Square. I'm here at the Ontario Town Square in the evening, yesterday in the afternoon, where I'm walking out at 4 o'clock. This is where the demons are calling it police training. Like I said, all they can do, all Satan does is smile and laugh. Satan is already lost. Satan is the Ontario Police Department. They're all demon possessed. So That's why I'm not going to mince words. Those are demons, and the demon-possessed are the special needs population. They are a threat to the public, and their criminal conduct is revealing that to you, and you need to know about the ticking time bombs that are going to be removed from law enforcement. These are the demons that engaged in that because I'm documenting and bullying the psychopaths, the special needs population, who are the people of the state, gang stalking where they live. The entity that resorts to such tactics, you're going to federal prison. You'll go to federal prison where you're living at, because it's directly relevant to who is documented. 404 C Street, 404 West C Street is documented where the Ontario Police is engaging in what is threatening you. That's federal prison. That's obstruction of justice. Starbucks employees engaged in kidnapping, when you're documenting them engaging in monitoring you, that's federal prison when you're engaging in kidnapping. You're gang stalking while the targeting entity is walking into your establishment, threatening and engaging in psychological torture while you're monitoring together. And they typically engage in that more so as you document. That's federal prison. And this is the entity that's surrounded by that evidence. It's not police training when the fake sun is still sitting over me after they remove that sign and after those demons resort to gang stalking me in another method. Doing so at 303 North Euclid Avenue and calling it police training is nothing than an iteration of the pattern of conduct. Psychopaths that are heavily surrounded with the evidence of stalking, losing in the campaign of trying to falsely depict the character of an American citizen that they are gang stalking. The demons have been overwhelmed with evidence. They've been bullied with evidence. They've been proven as sex offenders who are demon-possessed and obsessed with me. And the demon-possessed resort to all they can do at this point is just smile and laugh and keep stalking, because they are, in fact, special needs. All right, it is currently 7:40 a.m. at the Ontario Town Square, 224 North Euclid Avenue, where the evidence already shows that the entity is gang stalking. And because the fake sun remains at this venue, where the entity is engaging in what is the unlawful acts of threatening an American citizen, and I am one that is prosecuting them. So this is speaking to obstruction of justice and a series of other federal charges that is shared with the people of the state. The corrupt establishments are monitoring, the people of the state in their homes are monitoring, the people of the state are systematically monitoring via traffic. You know what they're doing when I'm in Starbucks, and the demons on the same street of Euclid Avenue are stalking with tornadoes of light that are occurring inside of Starbucks while they're sharing in the pattern of conduct. That's exactly what they're doing while the Ontario Police are smiling from ear to ear, being surrounded with evidence which is going to prosecute and remove that department from existence. And it's not funny. Those are psychopaths that are hiding hostility in an unnatural manner, because it's not funny when you're being accused of domestic terrorism and sexual violence. The entity resorts, because these are demons who are mentally ill, the entity is engaging in what they don't know what else to do. So what do they find socially acceptable? Oh, I'm going to laugh and smile and treat it as though it's a joke and act like it's not happening, just like they do with regard to stalking under a fake sun. That's evidence of mental illness, okay? And that's exactly how you're going to diagnose their personality disorders. It is 7:41 a.m. This is P.O.C. at the Ontario Town Square. Stalking from place. All right, I want to make sure I connect some dots for you. Don't get lost in the trees. The Ontario Police Department, that's Tracy Banks' co-defendant. I mentioned that. This is supposed to be her partner. She's relying on the government to provide what is the support for defaming me and doing so in order to steal property through a secret conservatorship. She's relying on the ignoramuses, the special needs of the Ontario Police Department. She's going to federal prison. This is the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police is what Jason Isaac Fields relied on. This is what the government was relying on, the Ontario Police Department, this special needs population, in order to defame me on paper. He's going to federal prison. This is their co-defendant. These demons that have been surrounded and overwhelmed and inundated and bullied with evidence of them stalking me, and them being demons in doing so, and violent sex offenders. This is what Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks relied on in targeting me and trying to steal property from me, and they're both going to federal prison. Don't forget that. It is currently 7:45 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, for illustrative purposes regarding what the demon-possessed are engaging in what is laughing in order to be a distraction to you, you should by now already be aware of the tactics of Satan, and what are, again, in the physical, when you're addressing mental illness, of what are psychopathic behavioral patterns, laughter, even harassment, any manner of distractions from the substance of the thing. You're going to look at what I took a screenshot of. It'll be uploaded to the Google Drive. The Ontario Police Department that are gang stalking and calling it police training, they're gang stalking me. And the fake sun, that is a supernatural feature in the environment in conformity to a long documented pattern of conduct where corrupt law enforcement agencies are documented targeting me. And the Ontario Police Department engaging in kidnapping upon targeting In doing so, while the purpose was to falsely depict my character so that the state could steal my property under a secret conservatorship, doing so with Tracy Banks and demons like Jason Isaac Fields, for which they're going to federal prison. But the entity is gang stalking, and you're going to see the fake sun as I'm capturing it on today, July 14th. You'll see the image that I took at 7:12 a.m. where I am on C Street at Euclid. And you will see the image that I took at 6:22 p.m. where the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking in the same manner that they were this morning with the Ontario Police Department flying over the same strip of land where I am yesterday at the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library. I am at the exact same street. I'm facing the same property from different directions. So at 6:22 p.m. I'm at the OVITT Family Community Library facing the C Street and Euclid intersection where the Ontario Police are gang stalking right now. And this morning where the Ontario Police are gang stalking in my line of vision, in my path, surrounding me with light activity. This is what the people of the state are doing, where I'm documenting the third-party gang stalking in the middle of the street with their hazards on. I'm documenting the state actor, the Ontario Police, in the vacant parking lot while she's stalking in the path, and the entity is monitoring using the the municipality employees who are creating amplified audible activity and light activity. The demons of the Ontario Police Department are at 303 North Euclid Avenue, already stalking in the path. This is ongoing activity creation while they're monitoring as an entity as I am en route to the Ontario Town Square. And the big picture is the screenshot that you'll see. The same C Street and Euclid intersection, I am capturing it at 7:12 a.m. today, where the entity is gang stalking, as I captured on video, and the Ontario Police, representing corrupt law enforcement, who shall not exist anymore, engaging in kidnapping upon state targeting, and are going to be exposed for domestic terrorism in the state of California, and the unlawful acts of obstruction of justice, like I documented this morning today, under the 7:12 a.m. fake sun, facing the same intersection at 6:22 p.m. on July 13, 2022. And as I documented, you heard me capture on the podcast, repeated stalking by the Ontario International Airport, where that fake sun remains at the same intersection. I'm facing the same property from different vantage points. So this morning, I'm capturing E Street and Euclid, where the Ontario Police are gang stalking under the guise of calling it police training when they're engaged in state surveillance, but with the intent to obstruct justice. These are demons that I am not fearful of, and they are, again, fearful of me. This is why they stalk me in helicopters, because these demons are actually fearful of me and my ability to expose them and show them who they are in the spirit, and also prosecute them in the physical. And demons who are abusing the law in order to target, all they are doing is engaging in that with the intent to obstruct justice, and they're going to prison for it. But they are doing so under the fake sun, and the direct evidence is what you can see. And I'll publish this on the YouTube post on my channel, so you can see the supernatural where the entity is engaging in what is gang stalking and not police training. And they're doing so in concert with the city of Ontario and the people of the state. The license plate that I documented on the podcast, the entity that's gang stalking using their car alarms, they're walking across the street, pacing in engineered light. The demon that's harassing me by tracking my steps on the sidewalk on video. The demon, the purple individual that's keeping his communication device in my face, while there are demons that are stalked, all they're doing is monitoring me up close. And they're doing so in that supernatural environment, which they're intentionally doing so. Tracking my steps as I show you the fake sun on video at the TABOR Professional Building, and it's remaining over me as in alignment to me while they're literally gang stalking, and I'm capturing a police department gang stalking. And this is the screenshot that you'll see. At the top is July 14, 2025 at 7:12 a.m. This is C Street in Euclid, and I am facing C Street in Euclid at the OVITT Family Community Library yesterday, July 13, 2025 at 6:22 p.m. And you will see the fake sun in the same exact position. That fake sun is in two different hues, if you will, and it's over the same exact location, and it's in alignment to me, where the Ontario Police are on video engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, doing so within a pattern of kidnapping, which is their engagement in psychological torture. It's ongoing harassment and terrorism, while they are also keeping my evidence under surveillance, and then doing so under the guise of its malice, while they are calling it police training, and they're engaged in state surveillance. And the evidence of that fake sun, 12 hours apart, this is almost 13 hours apart, doing so is the evidence of that. And this is what the entity is doing as a pattern of conduct throughout the state of California. The Ontario International Airport is directly engaging in it on the video and on the podcast. Ontario International Airport is gang stalking, where you see this fake sun at 7:12 a.m. And they are gang stalking over the OVITT Family Community Library, where I remain at 6:22 p.m., which I captured the proof of on podcast. This is the image that I will upload to the Google Drive. The Ontario Police Department are documented by license plate. They're on video. They're in the specific environment. They're gang stalking while carrying heavy artillery, using in custody of weapons, in other words, while you're engaging in the pattern of conduct. Understand the targeted individual that's subject to this pattern of conduct while corrupt police departments are gang stalking you, engaging in psychologically torturing you by bearing weapons, stalking in your path with the people of the state, engaging in maniacal and psychopathic means and demonic means of targeting you, such as with impossible light activities, such as being under a fake sun, such as stalking you as a population that includes that corrupt law enforcement that does resort to kidnapping you, making up criminal charges, making up mental illness to help your gang stalking family, to help your gang stalking friends, neighbors, the entity that is targeting you with the intent to obstruct justice. This is why they're going to be disbanded and they are going to federal prison. And their demon possession is also proven through this evidence of what I'm going to post on the YouTube channel so that you can see it. It is 8:05 a.m. at the Ontario Town Square where the fake sun remains. This is exposing everybody else that's gang stalking under that fake sun. Let's count together, okay? 7:12 a.m. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's 11 hours later where I am at the OVITT Family Community Library yesterday evening at 6:22 in the Ontario International Airport, the same city of Ontario, who was gang stalking with the same demon-possessed and corrupt police department, engaging in a pattern of kidnapping me on behalf of Tracy Banks, having a secret conservatorship, relying on the criminal conduct of this corrupt police department to manufacture mental illness while they falsely depict my character upon repeatedly kidnapping me and making up information as to why they are abusing their position as a corrupt law enforcement agency, where I am engaged in what is documentation, which is exactly what you're going to do, where the government is acting in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. You are not violating the law, and the entity is violating the law while they're making up charges as to why they are kidnapping. Not merely falsely imprisonment, it's not merely a false arrest, it's kidnapping, because it's done pursuant to the pattern of conduct with the intent to obstruct justice, because I am documenting them and the evidence they are keeping under surveillance. It is currently 8:06 a.m. at the Ontario Town Square. This is an image I will upload to the YouTube channel. This is relevant to removing every body a part of the Ontario Police from law enforcement. It's being disbanded, and the kidnappers of the Ontario Police, those gang stalking under the fake sun, like I documented, they're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. 8:23 a.m. Federal stalking by Ontario International Airport at the Ontario Town Square. The fake sun from 6:22 p.m. until what you're seeing this morning with the Ontario Police that are across the street, 7:14 a.m. This is surveillance by the airport. I'm uploading onto the Google Drive. They're monitoring the evidence. That's Southwest Airlines, and you will see the fake sun right over me, right here, at the Ontario Town Square, where the Ontario International Airport and the third-party Southwest Airlines are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And that's also what you saw and what you heard. The Ontario International Airport flew directly over the building that I was standing next to, while the Ontario Police Department were documented on video gang stalking at 303 North Euclid Avenue, which is steps away from where I'm at. They're still gang stalking right now, engaging what is the abuse of the resources of a police department to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, criminally facilitating it with the people of the state. That includes Southwest Airlines. That includes the people that I'm documenting. They're stalking in that parking garage. There's engineer light above all their heads. They're all monitoring. They're gang stalking by the city of Ontario. They're a bunch of demons stalking me at the Ontario Town Square while they're engaging what is the outward appearance of landscaping. They're stalking in the path with light activity and with audible activity. And the Ontario International Airport has no terminals over here where they would ever even be flying over the Ontario Town Square. This is targeting, which you'll also see in the environment. I'll upload those images to the Google Drive. And they are doing it in the environment, like I stated. The screenshot showing you Euclid Avenue and C Street from both vantage points, from the OVITT Family Community Library vantage point, and from the 303 North Euclid Avenue, where the Ontario Police are gang stalking right now, like I captured on video. It's the same intersection, and the fake sun as from 6:22 to 7:14 a.m. Or from 7:14 a.m. rather to 6:22 p.m., which is an impossible maintenance of what is a fake sun showing what is stalking by a public entity. That's also a demonic entity, and they're going to be prosecuted as the special needs population that they are. Stalking as a police department that is special needs, stalking as a population that is special needs, stalking as corrupt businesses that employ the special needs, and that are the special needs patrons who are all engaged in what is stalking one person together, which is entirely demented and it's demonic. And this is speaking to the unlawful threat posed by gang gang stalking police officers who go to federal prison. It's currently 8:26 a.m. and that's the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police that I documented also on video and by license plate and in images under the fake sun that is remaining with regard to their targeting me and doing so in the malicious and unintelligent manner that I've already proven. This is why Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are also going to federal prison, gang stalking me with the Ontario Police Department, with the City of Ontario, and with the people of the state. Conspiring my murder, in other words, and criminally defaming me so that they can steal my money and my property. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It's 8:26 a.m. Alrighty, seconds later, 8:26 a.m. And this is what Ontario National Airport was doing over the OVITT Family Community Library yesterday, remember? That's amplification under the fake sun, far from any sort of terminals where you're taking off. And Securitas is gang stalking, engaged in federal stalking as well. The City of Ontario maintaining activity, including doing so, again, Southwest Airlines flew directly over the Ontario Town Square, targeting, because you're not taking off from 2500 Airport Drive, and they engaged in the same thing, merely flying over the town square and making a U-turn, which is providing amplified audible activity and crossing path above my head while the fake sun is remaining over me at the Ontario Town Square. Literally the fake sun being present at what is the current time. This is how you're prosecuting for targeting. 8:27 a.m. and this is what the Ontario International Airport was doing at 6 p.m., at 5 p.m. Last night as I exited the OVITT Family Community Library at 4 p.m. That's the P.O.C. of gang stalking by commercial planes. That's the special needs population that is not, by the way, engaged in police training. They're monitoring. They're stalking right now. This is P.O.C. All right, the corrupt business, graffiti protective coatings. Again, GPC, that's a demon. Light activity in perfect alignment with me while they're stalking in the path under the fake sun on behalf of and in concert with the City of Ontario that's maintaining aerial surveillance under the fake sun that's remaining over me. And also with the Ontario Police Department that's gang stalking while the fake sun remains over me, and they are stalking in the path, doing so under the guise of calling it police training. They're gang stalking with the people of the state. Graffiti protective coatings is engaged in stalking with light activity. That's demonic. It's an outward demonstration of mental illness, and doing so through the corrupt business practices of that company that's engaged in federal stalking. You'll see them in images that I'll upload to the Google Drive while that business and that third party operating that vehicle representing a business is stalking. They're engaged in federal stalking as well, and they're engaging in what is light activity creation, stalking in the path with a method of light. The demon possessed that are all driving Teslas are pacing in and out, which is also a method of light activity creation as well. But the peculiarized light is what you're looking at. This is what the City of Ontario is doing, using the dumpster trucks, using the municipality vehicles, using third-party companies like graffiti protective coatings while the fake sun is remaining over me. This is how you're understanding the connection of that pattern of conduct. This is the special needs population that it's targeting. And they're doing so while I'm uploading the evidence onto the venue of the internet. It's federal stalking that graffiti protective coatings is engaging in, especially while the City of Ontario is providing evidence against that third-party company gang stalking me in concert. It is 8:32 a.m. P.O.C. All right, you will see surveillance by the entity, including third-party Brightview, while you're looking at Securitas, who's engaged in surveillance, not any lawful, constitutionally protected private activity, such as being on the job. Securitas is a third party. This employee is a third party. Gang stalking. This is relevant to the public corruption. This is what Starbucks is engaging in. Securitas is another company. This is another employee of a gang stalking company in the specific environment who is actually pacing, not securing the grounds, and doing so with the City of Ontario, who's already provided evidence about what Securitas is engaging in. So is Brightview, while they're surrounding in the environment where the entity is maintaining aerial surveillance, stalking with light, stalking under the fake sun. That is still here at 6:22 p.m. That's the pattern of conduct. That's reflected in the images that are uploaded to the Google Drive. It's 8:34 a.m. P.O.C. All right, third-party group stalker Brightview engaged in the pattern of conduct, and I've been documenting Brightview targeting me, the company, and its third-party gang stalking employees for years, and in different regions, including Los Angeles County, for example, Diamond Bar, California. and Pomona, California. The entity is gang stalking. Brightview is headquartered in Pennsylvania. It's a third-party company. They are relevant to the federal RICO case against the government, and they are engaged in what is criminal facilitation of gang stalking as well as gang stalking. Brightview headquarters located at 980 Jolly Road, Suite 300, Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, 19422. Graffiti Protective Coatings Incorporated is a third-party company. I've been documenting them beyond 2025, engaging in the pattern of conduct with the City of Ontario. They are a third-party company, and the third parties are gang stalking while they are representing these gang stalking corrupt companies that are all engaged in federal stalking. Graffiti Protective Coatings Incorporated, located at 419 North Larchmont Boulevard, number 264, Los Angeles, California, 90004. All right, Southwest Airlines is a third-party company documented for years, gang stalking me. Doing so in concert with the City of Ontario, the Ontario International Airport in particular, which is relevant to removing this airport that's engaged in domestic terrorism in Southern California, which is a national security threat. The third-party company itself, Southwest Airlines, who was monitoring while this third party is intentionally making noise under the fake sun because I'm documenting them. The entity is engaging in what is Southwest Airlines. Let me go ahead and capture this. This is P.O.C. He already did this earlier, and I documented it. They're doing so now because I'm documenting by company name. They're all going to be prosecuted in a federal RICO case, whether they want to make noise, which is criminal conduct, or not. Southwest Airlines is monitoring in the same way. It's criminal activity creation, while Southwest Airlines is targeting me at the Ontario Town Square in the specific environment, which is evidence against that company that they're engaged in domestic terrorism and psychological torture, pursuant to real-time ongoing surveillance of my evidence as well, while Southwest Airlines is gang stalking with the City of Ontario, the state of California, which I documented outside of Ontario, California as well. Southwest Airlines is documented gang stalking me in the same exact specific environment, not the natural environment, but the specific environment where Southwest Airlines is targeting me specifically in Los Angeles, California, off of Washington, for example, just giving you another example, where the fake sun is over me at the Planet Fitness in Los Angeles, at the gym where I'm working at, where the Los Angeles Police Department is gang stalking me under the 4 p.m. fake sun, and Southwest Airlines is gang stalking me under the 4 p.m. fake sun. But how is that coexisting at the same time of year where the entity's keeping the fake sun right here, where the Ontario police are engaged in what they call police training, which is gang stalking under the fake sun that's present from 7:14 a.m. until 6:22 p.m. because Southwest Airlines is engaged in domestic terrorism. The unprecedented criminal act against American citizens, gang stalking them and using commercial airline planes, which is done with the intent to psychologically torture them, while they are maintaining real-time knowledge about the evidence against it, the company, and the people of the state that they're gang stalking me with, including corrupt law enforcement agencies such as Los Angeles Police Department and the Ontario Police Department. I will be prosecuting Southwest Airlines, which is a third-party company. They are headquartered in what is Dallas, Texas. Address of Southwest Airlines corporate headquarters is 2702 Lovefield Drive, HDQ-1PR, Dallas, Texas, 75235. That is, again, third-party Southwest Airlines, which is acting in conformity to the pattern of conduct. Every third-party gang-stalking airline associated with the Ontario International Airport is going to be prosecuted pursuant to the federal RICO case. This is relevant to what is the people of the state that are gang-stalking with the government, and the government relies on the people of the state using their establishments, using the instrumentalities of interstate commerce, such as Union Pacific, such as the airlines that are stalking in planes, such as the establishments like Starbucks that are gang stalking, such as Amazon, for example, using not only planes, but the employees that are representing third parties that are pacing on the roads and the highways using the vehicles bearing these logos who are gang stalking, like Graffiti Protective Coatings is engaging in. This is that pattern of conduct, and you're going to prosecute every aspect of it. It is currently 8:35 a.m. where the entity is gang stalking. I will capture the specific environment, because the entity, including Southwest Airlines, they're all monitoring while the evidence is being documented against them. This is audible activity, not landscaping. This is the context regarding demons who are stalking in the path. Engaging in landscaping under the fake sun is criminal monitoring, and it is occurring under the superficial guise of engaging in landscaping. The entity is doing so while a sun is remaining 10 hours later after you're done blowing the leaves. That's understanding gang stalking, okay? It's P.O.C. It's pursuant to knowledge that I'm documenting third-party gang stalking companies who are going to be subject to not only civil damages, but also criminal prosecutions. Companies that are engaged in domestic terrorism, companies that are engaged in sexual violence, companies that are practicing warfare against American citizens while they engage in psychological torture, and I will be prosecuting for that. It's 8:44 a.m. This is P.O.C. all right? The celebration of demons, all right, who are going dizzy as their special needs is exposed and they resort to criminal summoning. It's the same targeting by that same entity. Sounding sirens, those are demons that are actually manifesting in the spirit, just so that you know. But with regard to prosecuting the special needs population, it's audible activity, it's relevant positioning, and it's referred to as criminal summoning, all right? They're doing so while they are all keeping my evidence under surveillance, and the demon-possessed show their hostility by smiling as you capture them up close on video and in images, and driving around, pacing around me, using the emergency vehicles to use their sirens and lights while they're engaged in gang stalking. It's 8:45 a.m. where the city of Ontario is sounding sirens, which is massive criminal facilitation, which is serving to prosecute all the third parties that include Southwest Airlines, Brightview, Starbucks, graffiti protective coatings, P.O.C. It is 8:46 a.m. That's the city of Ontario engaging in criminal summoning as I document the pattern of conduct. The sirens is audible activity under the fake sun. The lights on those emergency vehicles that are operated by demons are going to be removed from the threat that they pose to the public, being in the positions that they currently hold, stealing them from sane individuals who are not corrupt, who are not interested in stalking, and then calling it law enforcement or calling it firefighting or calling it the operation of an airport. This special needs population is going to be ripped from the positions that they are holding while they're maintaining criminal surveillance. It's 8:46 a.m. P.O.C. All right, helicopter activity by the demons that have already conceded what is their placement in law enforcement. They've already conceded the fact that they're stalking because I'm documenting them stalking every day. Gang stalking is supposed to be something that is not provable. It's supposed to be a rumor. It's supposed to be only existing in the imagination of somebody that's purportedly mentally ill. The entity has already given up. This is why they're so heavily documented gang stalking. These are the demons that have given up any ability to appear legitimate and anything other than special needs. A bunch of special needs people who are caught via evidence, hard evidence, long existing evidence of stalking me. In doing so, also relevant to the motive to do so behind a secret conservatorship. Everybody engaged in trying to steal property from me by gang stalking, where they thought I was going to unravel, and then that would support their criminally defamatory acts in these corrupt courts, trying to steal property behind my back. Doing so through these ignoramuses, these mentally demented, unhinged sex offenders of the Ontario Police. Those are the ones that are providing evidence about exactly why the entity was defaming my character, how they're engaging in what is keeping a secret conservatorship and relying on gang stalking as the system that's going to provide them enough evidence to manufacture mental illness. That entity that's already conceded stalking me is sounding helicopter activity at 9:23 a.m. And let me show you, or let me refer to the videos that you'll see published online, where you'll see all these demons smiling from ear to ear regarding what they don't find funny at all. They don't find funny at all the fact that I'm proving that they're stalkers and that they're demons. The entity is gang stalked with the city of Ontario. You already know that. This is the entity that's already conceded they're stalking. They're openly admitting that they're stalking me because they've already lost, and this is referring to who is Satan, who has already lost. So the entity sounds helicopter activity and now sounds plane activity while I'm documenting the fact that they were stalking with helicopter activity, because the entity is conceding that they're stalking. They did the same thing in the middle of the night last night when I documented the entity begging me for attention. Who does that? You're stalking and you're doing so because you want me to capture you on video. I don't even need it. I don't need it. The Ontario Police, many of whose images I captured again today, stalking in my face, they're going to federal prison for that. They're doing it today, going to federal prison for it tomorrow. The entity's engaging in what is conceding the fact that you're targeting gang stalking police officers go to federal prison. The entity sounds helicopter activity as I refer to video evidence, which you will want to set your eyes on as well. On what is... Let me remind you about what's already published online, proving that the Ontario Police, again, I've proven it over and over and over again. Like I said, they're laughing about what they don't find funny at all. I've embarrassed these demons. All right. August 28, 2021 at 11:26 a.m. It's the same exact location where the Ontario Police are shown to be demons. They're shown to be stalkers. They're shown to be gang stalkers representing a corrupt police department. And they're also shown to be, each and every last one of them individually, for a federal case for federal prison, for bearing weapons and gang stalking, bearing weapons representing a gang stalking police department, gang stalking, and also engaging in what is a pattern of kidnapping me while they're gang stalking. This is the unlawful express and implied threat while they're keeping the evidence because they're gang stalking, so they're keeping my evidence under surveillance while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct. And the proof of that is the fake sun at the same time of year on August 28, 2021 at 11:26 a.m. You will see the same exact building in this video, and the fake sun is over me. 8, 9, 10, that would be 4 hours later, where I am capturing, again, before 2025. I've already proven years of evidence already concealed, excuse me, not the entity concealed my evidence, but I've already completed my case proving that the entity has been stalking and monitoring, targeting me. And what was going on in the background? This Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, in concert with demons, terrorists, sex offenders, criminals, like Jason Isaac Fields and his sex partner, the age of his mother, Tracy Banks, engaging in what is targeting me with the state, defaming me in the courts, while they're relying on criminal conduct of this department, who are a bunch of demons targeting me together with this demon Jason Fields, this demon Tracy Banks, the demons who are the people of the state. These are demons that engage in an all elaborate conspiracy to target me and make me appear one way on paper so that they could steal my money and property in a corrupt court. That's engaged in gang stalking as well. They're not ignorant about the targeting that the police and the sheriff are engaged in. They're engaged in that targeting system with the demons that are in their court bearing false witness. This is the connection of all of that pattern of conduct. It's corruption from every end, from the beginning to the end. And my evidence of the P.O.C. also establishes that. It's also not a coincidence while the gang stalkers are on video today, July 14, 2025 at 7:15 a.m. calling gang stalking police training under the 7:15 a.m. fake sun, which is also not in alignment with L. Edwards, who was gang stalking at 507 North Euclid Avenue on July 4th. He's going to prison. So is Alex Escobar, and so is A. Quesada. Okay, the entity is gang stalking under the fake sun, which is showing in 2021 at the same time of year. The sun would never be like it is over the same exact location over my head when I'm at the same address at 11:26 a.m. As I pull up this video, pursuant to the pattern of conduct where the special needs population, their special needs is showing through their criminal conduct and their ongoing incriminating behaviors, which are federal offenses, putting them in asylums and prison. While they are keeping me under surveillance, the entity sounds helicopter. And this, while I document, you hear the Ontario International Airport gang stalking in a matter that is clearly, directly incriminating them. There's no sun that's going to still be here at 6:22 p.m. like I documented. There is no terminal where you are hovering over the Ontario Town Square. There are no coincidences in that environment. There are also no coincidences when I'm documenting gang stalking by that police department and you fly over by it. That's the same city of Ontario. Again, their special needs status is obvious, and their special needs status is also made obvious as I expose the maniacal psychopaths that they are. And then you're seeing that unhinged mental illness being exposed while it's no longer hidden. But it's not hidden in the first place. All I did was show you what you're looking at. It's been in plain sight the entire time. The Ontario Police is being disbanded and they are going to federal prison. Stalking with helicopter activity. These are the demons that you're looking at on video, smiling, cheesing from ear to ear, engaging in harassment, pacing on C Street and Engineer Light under the fake sun that's still present at 11:26 a.m. on August 28, 2021, where I already documented the P.O.C. and this department repeatedly kidnapping me with the intent to obstruct justice and thinking that it was going to falsely depict any American citizen. It doesn't. And this is what's going to require the laws to change. There are unconstitutional laws on the books where corrupt police departments and corrupt entities, corrupt companies are targeting American citizens in order to steal their property under some fictitious exercise of authority under the laws that are stating that you're mentally ill and a conservatorship will accomplish another person's ability to exercise control over your money, over your property, where they can depict your character as being one less than competent based on whatever they put together in order to demonstrate that. That's not mental illness. That's not the practice of medicine. And it's also unconstitutionally vague and overbroad. And it's an unlawful interference with your liberty and property rights, where the entity is engaged in surveillance and gang stalking in the way that the city of Ontario, the state of California, Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, the U.S. government has. This is going to change the laws. And these ignoramuses are under a fake sun that's remaining over that same building at 11:26 a.m. All those demons that you saw cheesing from ear to ear, bearing weapons, getting in my face with their phones, stalking, harassing me in the path on the sidewalk, screaming out, "Get out of here," where they're stalking me. That's evidence about their mental illness. They're going to be prosecuted and disbanded. They're not engaged in law enforcement, and they're going to be removed from law enforcement since they can't distinguish the difference between stalking, between stop stalking, which the evidence of my documentation is a clear and concise statement for them to stop stalking, and they did not, You're looking at that as well. It's relevant to diagnosing mental illness, and it's also removing them from law enforcement, and they're going to federal prison while I document gang stalking police officers. It's 9:31 a.m. The entity is sounding plane activity while they're stalking with the same Ontario police, by the way. And the entity is doing so in the environment where I've already shown the sun sits over me at this address. And over me at the 303 North Euclid Avenue, where the Ontario police are they're calling gang stalking police training. As you are understanding, public corruption is existing. Starbucks is calling gang stalking their business, selling coffee. And they're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. While I'm at that venue, I fully documented that and prove that. And they then committed kidnapping. They're going to federal prison for that. For the demons who are special needs and have no legal strategy because they provide evidence against their co-defendants, the people of the state, like Starbucks, when they're gang stalking me day and night like the Ontario Police Department are. These are the special needs, and I want to be clear, I'm not wrong because I'm bullying the special needs population with evidence surrounding them with evidence, insurmountable and irreducible evidence of being demons, being psychopaths, being special needs, being sex offenders, being perverts, being corrupt, engaging in criminal surveillance. It is justice. Okay, this is a justice that you are watching happen in real time. And this is justice while a bunch of psychopaths, and that's not name calling. This is identifying. I don't have to have a degree in psychology in order to identify the personality defects and the behavioral concerns regarding what is a threat, what is criminal, what is malicious, what is entirely demented. And this is also what you're going to learn when the entity is abusing things like the Welfare and Institutions Code and making up information about mental illness that doesn't exist. And why? Because they're envious of my ability to prove the corrupt law enforcement agency as the criminal. Oh, they're very much hostile to that. And that's why they sounded helicopter activity. That's the same department that's being disbanded. That's the department that you heard stalking openly because they've already conceded. These demons have already given up. They're sloppy with their gang stalking now, and they're going to federal prison, like I said in the beginning. It's 9:33 a.m. under the fake sun at the Ontario Town Square. You'll see this video in the related content. Look at it, because you'll see them stalking. You'll see them engaging what is bearing weapons. These are all federal no-nos, and the rest of the country is going to learn what the Ontario Police Department did. If you ever do it, you're going to federal prison as well. The entity is going to be disbanded for kidnapping. They're stalking in plain view. They're engaged in criminal surveillance. This is monitoring, and there are a bunch of demons doing so. While I'm capturing that, this is an unlawful threat, and while the evidence surrounds them, the demons are only focused on the right here and the right now. No federal case and no federal investigator and no federal court or judge is looking at the here and now. You're looking at the totality of facts. While those simple-minded ignoramuses who are obsessively concerned with my vagina are being prosecuted in real time while I capture all of their images on video. This is P.O.C. It's 9:34 a.m. All right. Brightview, that is gang stalking. You'll see the specific environment. You'll see them crossing paths. This is federal stalking, and they're literally engaged in gang stalking with the government. The trailer of Brightview, license 4MC3545, and the vehicle itself, license plate 21528D4, and its license number 266211. That's a criminal misuse of a commercial license to engage in surveillance, gang stalking, terrorism, psychological torture. These are the ways in which you're going to prosecute and disincentivize corruption when you're using your businesses, using commercial licensure to engage in criminal conduct and furtherance of murder and kidnapping like Brightview is doing. Again, that's the vehicle license plate is 21528D4. License plate 6YWD793, license plate 9TGF002. You'll see them crossing path while the fake sun moves over me, which is evidence of a population creeping around, stalking around, following me from place to place under a fake sun, where that special needs population is also a part of the Ontario Police Department that's being disbanded. License 98890F4, 8NJL509, 5MBN577, ALY1CAT. UPS is gang stalking at Metro 102. UPS is gang stalking with the Los Angeles Police Department, gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. UPS is gang stalking for a prolonged period using both commercial planes and their vehicles where demons are operating them. And they're gang stalking with the Ontario Police that's stalking by helicopter. This is the entity that is, again, very sloppy, engaging in that P.O.C. with the entity that's stalking in the path, license 9EYN325. Ontario Police is monitoring while he is trying to hide his license plate. I'm going to document that. He's going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. in operation. That's license 9CVK995, threatening me with the Ontario police, who found helicopter activity while he's stalking at the 280 North Limit Apartments under the fake sun, and the entity engaged in that same identical pattern of conduct while you document the stalkers and the sex offenders monitoring your vagina, and then they want to start stalking with the police, and that's supposed to disincentivize the documentation. You will see the fake sun over him while he is gang stalking at the 280 North Limit Apartments. This is the same street where the demon operating the Ontario Police Department vehicle at 407 on this same street, stalking as a police department. License 8TUG591, and UPS is monitoring to this. I'm going to prosecute that. It's a federal RICO case. UPS is engaged in state surveillance. That's already done. This is P.O.C. You'll see those images. It's 9:57 a.m. That's how the people of the state pick up federal prison. Very rapidly, just like that. That's an unlawful threat by the terrorists who are targeting you, engaging in what is surrounding you, stalking you, engaging in what is harassing you, and then engaging criminal summoning. This is what Starbucks did, summoning the entity while they're gang stalking you. That's why they're going to prison. Ocean, Amelia, Brian, Patty, Elena, they're going to federal prison. The entity sounding helicopter, that's relevant to audible activity creation while you are subject to surveillance. And this demon is a sex offender engaging in what is, again, very much special needs, taking time out of his day to stalk me. Why? Because they're demented. These are the demon possessed that are conspiring together against an American citizen. And that's in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. And it's with the gang stalkers of the Ontario police that are being disbanded. The entity sounds helicopter with simultaneity to documenting that third party. License 7MUE916. Already documented that license plate. License 95244D4. License 6UKT520. This is P.O.C. And at 9:58 a.m., the entity is stalking by helicopter. That's the same Ontario police, referring to 7:15 a.m., the fake sun over the same venue, where they're calling it gang stalking. They're referring to it as police training. This is over 2.5 hours later, the fake sun's at the same location over me. O Park is gang stalking, license 9GVP606. O Park is a sex offender molesting my person with engineer light, engaging in the same exact demonic pattern of conduct. While they're gang stalking with the government, you will see them in images crossing path, and they are doing so while the fake sun is directly over me, and doing so with the Ontario Police Department, engaging in that sex offense molestation. UPS gang stalking, impossible light on the ground. Let me go ahead and show you this. This is P.O.C. This is impossible light that travels as the vehicle travels. UPS is gang stalking, and I've documented them. They're demons that operate their vehicles very heavily. This is appearing in the shade. This is not sunlight. This is real-time documentation of surveillance. And this is a demon that's monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. This is special needs in real time. All right, looking at the perplexed look of a demon that's gang stalking you, that's relevant to the special needs status of the gang stalkers. This is peculiarized light under the fake sun, license 04867W3. You will look at the fake sun. This is where Ontario Police is gang stalking at 4:07 p.m. I'm at the same exact street. This is where Ontario Police that's parked right here at 6:27 p.m. where UPS is gang stalking. You're looking at special needs demons, gang stalkers, psychopaths who are monitoring. And then when the demon possessed are documented, they maintain this look of being perplexed. This is, again, malice. This is mental illness, as they're going to be prosecuted for that malice. And the Ontario Police is literally flying in circles. This is criminal facilitation. This is what Oak Park is molesting you with. And it's not the product of sunlight. And by the way, that's not even the sun. And it's impossible light activity. This is crossing paths. She's just coming out of the apartment, monitoring with the Ontario Police, okay? Her and all of her chins engaging in what is creating light activity. That's the P.O.C. while the population shares in that. This is the pattern of conduct. Every gang stalking police officer under the fake sun is going to federal prison. And at 7:15 a.m., the fake sun would not still be on this same strip of land. They're right across the street calling it police training. Everybody that was cheesing from ear to ear, talking about get out of here while they're stalking me, those are the psychopaths that are being removed from law enforcement. And they're currently stalking by helicopter right now. And inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, they're monitoring my vagina while all those demons go inside of the library and engage in surveillance. This is all pacing. These are all demons. They're under the fake sun, and this is revealing special needs status. P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the entity that is gang stalking. That's licensed again. UPS is a third party. That's license 04867W3. Stalking with Peculiarized Light, doing so with Metro 102, which is a third-party facilitating venue, doing so with the 280 North Limit Apartments. It's a facilitating venue. Doing so while the fake sun is still here, which you already know. You see Ontario Police gang stalking with the population in the same manner at 4:07 p.m., at 6:26 p.m., at 5:22 p.m., where the fake sun's over the same Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, stalking by helicopter, and the entity is calling gang stalking police training at C Street and Euclid Avenue, which I captured at 7:15 a.m. They're all going to federal prison, and this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police, just like I stated. You're witnessing the special needs status of those that are engaged in kidnapping because they're hostile to being shown as stalkers. All right, stalkers that don't want to be exposed, they don't have an opportunity to interfere with justice like that. And neither does any terrorist in the United States. And there is no means of what is trying to conceal the fact that you're stalking as a police department. The Ontario Police Department has engaged in kidnapping me with the criminal purpose in doing so. And they are also foolish enough to continuously engage in methods of gang stalking while I'm in the midst of documenting it. These are the fools. These are the fools that are being disbanded. All right, the entity is so sloppy, they've conceded already to being a stalker. License 7RGZ486, and everybody working at the OVITT Family Community Library, they're all catching federal cases. It's the city of Ontario, and those that engage in kidnapping, like I documented under the 10:29 a.m. fake sun, that fake sun that remains here until the end of the day. Everybody engaged in kidnapping, criminal summoning, gang stalking with the Ontario Police, the kidnappers, they're going to prison. They're going to federal prison. It is currently 10:02 a.m. You'll see the image of the fake sun over the OVITT Family Community Library. I'm going to go ahead and capture that. The entity is engaged in criminal summoning. Doing so, crossing path. 8SMJ783. This is exactly what I'm documenting when I'm sitting on the side of the OVITT Family Community Library like I was yesterday evening, and the fake sun is still here. And that demon represents the entity that's molesting with impossible light while they know exactly who I am. But you know that they are stalking as a population that is special needs because the sun doesn't sit over one building, anywhere for 11 hours. Okay, that is UPS that's sharing in domestic terrorism, psychological torture. It's relevant to the federal RICO case. That's another third party engaged in commercial stalking, as it is termed. Upon my entrance into the OVITT Family Community Library, it is under the fake sun, where every employee of the city of Ontario inside of this venue is engaged in criminal surveillance and monitoring my vagina. P.O.C. All right, stalking in the path inside of the private space, which is the obsessed entity that is special needs, engaging in surveillance in absurd and predatory manners, such as in the bathroom, which is the private space, where the entity keeps the evidence of surveillance, which is shown in the unnatural environment, and it's showing the unnatural behavior of that entity that is stalking, and that obsessive and sexually perverted method of stalking, which is, again, the perpetual sex offense. This is that entity who is gang stalking. It's not police training. It's monitoring my vagina, maintaining amplified audible activity through the walls in the absence of physical presence in the bathroom. Physical presence surrounds the bathroom while the entity maintains that method of audible activity. And as in use of what is the hand dryer, this is where a demon is crossing paths, monitoring inside. And this is the Ontario Police that are monitoring my vagina. This is the entity, the public entity, all of the license plates, the entity, the businesses, the people, the traffic, they're all monitoring my vagina together while OVITT Family Community Library maintains that sex offense. Every employee is engaged in it. Every single one. And it's built into the pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's 10:12 a.m. Fake sun is over the staircase. I already documented that. It remains over that staircase at 3 in the afternoon. That's the absurdity, recognizing the sex offender stalking in a bathroom. That's speaking to obsession. It's also speaking to mental illness. That's the special needs population that enters into bathrooms to maintain surveillance on behalf of a gang stalking government that is engaging in what is public corruption, using things like secret conservatorships to falsely depict the target individual's character when their mental illness is put at the forefront of their prosecution, when they're engaging in the corrupt system of gang stalking, which is evidence of mental illness on the part of that targeting entity. This is P.O.C. It is 10:13 a.m. So I want to be clear, UPS monitoring my vagina, okay? Graffiti protective coatings, monitoring my vagina, Brightview, monitoring my vagina, Starbucks, monitoring my vagina. Sex offenders, okay? Southwest Airlines, monitoring my vagina. This is built into the pattern of conduct, the federal RICO case of sex offenders, those that are engaged in surveillance, engaged in what is stalking in places like bathrooms, which is terrorizing, and it's also predatory. It's very much special needs. special needs, and this is revealing what is a public safety concern. All right, it's currently 10:14 a.m. This is P.O.C, the perpetual sex offense committed by the City of Ontario, which is maintaining surveillance inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. P.O.C. All right, third-party group stalker, the corporation UPS, is headquartered in Georgia. It is located at 55 Glenacre Parkway, NE, Atlanta, Georgia 30328.
Okay, I just sent you an email, and I sent my email, you'll see my email, and you can see how it comes up.
Okay, the demon-possessed that are stalking inside of the building that keeps the fake sun until sunset at 215 E.C. Street, the OVITT Family Community Library, you will see the demons surrounding. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in the immediate vicinity, including the third party whose voice you hear. He is the method of audible activity that's being maintained while they are stalking in the path together. You'll see the picture of my hand, and you'll see the double shadows of my hand. They're all stalking in impossible light. You'll see the shadow of the chairs that they're sitting in. The upright chairs are flat. The shadows of the chairs are flat on the floor. That's impossible light activity. The shadows of the chairs are on the wall and also on the ground. The shadows are appearing underneath the desk that they're sitting in while they're stalking in engineer light, stalking with ongoing audible activity, and they're all engaged in surveillance as I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. And this is Michael Solace. That's a method of audible activity while he is gang stalking with the demon-possessed patrons that are engaging in surveillance inside of the library. This is shared with regard to the sex offense that they committed inside of the private space inside of this venue as well. It's relevant to what the Ontario Police Department of the City of Ontario is maintaining criminal surveillance inside of the venue. It's currently 10:51 a.m. These images are uploaded to the Google Drive, and this is relevant to, again, the business of the library, which is relevant to ongoing surveillance. And the actual focus of the conversation is not the substance, the subject matter. The engineer light is actually proving what is the actual focus of the special needs population that's maliciously engaging in criminal surveillance in the specific environment, which is entirely demented. And this is also the outward proof, the objective proof of mental illness by those who are gang stalking. The mentally ill are sitting around stalking in a library. That's the special needs demonstrated for the world to witness. They're sitting around in engineer light. That's the special needs status of this population that's engaging in criminal activity that's no longer a secret, and their obsession with stalking in a failed endeavor is also relevant to the mental illness, the special needs status of the demon-possessed who are gang stalking, doing so in the manner in which they do, including by stalking in bathrooms, engaging in demonic pacing around bathrooms, above bathrooms in the sky space, where they're doing so pursuant to every movement, including regarding my vagina. This is the sex offenders that are sitting around stalking. This is the unlawful threat posed by the entity that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. It is directly relevant to the criminal system that Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields and the corrupt courts relied on in order to falsely depict the character of an American citizen who suffers from mental illness and who is subject to the unabated program of psychological torture and criminal monitoring, which is demonic and it's psychopathic. The entity is going to be diagnosed and also federally prosecuted. Corrupt businesses like Brightview, UPS, graffiti graffiti protective coatings, the third-party OPARC, the third-party Southwest Airlines are all sharing in what is the business of such companies that are sharing in criminal monitoring and doing so as an entity, and it's entirely demented, and this is exposing massive public corruption, but it's also serving to expose what is massive closeted mental illness. The special needs, this is a population that's molesting with impossible light. They're sitting around stalking in the library. These are the same demons stalking with impossible
visible light that's never going to travel through a building as you are driving in a car outside of that building. The sun is never going to sit over a building for 11 hours while you are inside of that building. Your shadow is never going to be perpendicular or increase in numerosity as you walk around inside of a building. These are the demons who are psychopaths monitoring my vagina and monitoring as I upload the images, and more demons surround, aiding in what is gang stalking content. This is that spirit. The more that you expose it, the more aggressive it becomes, and this is expressed through the numerosity, the demons that add on to surrounding, because that's what it is. It's not patronage in a library, it's surrounding conduct while they're engaging in surveillance on behalf of the to-be disbanded Ontario Police Department. It is currently 10:53 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alright, the video you just listened to regarding the Ontario International Airport, they are gang stalking, and the evidence of that specific environment following around an American citizen. That is stalking through an unnatural environment which is conducive to and what is also the evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring. This is gang stalking. All right, so this is literally showing you what is the scary movie of a bunch of demons who are following around in a demonic environment, stalking one person together. This is the special needs population, and that's relevant to the video you just listened to. Preceding gang stalking during the 7 p.m. hour at the TABOR Professional Building, where the entity housed the sun, as I documented in the morning at that same building, where the population is proven to be gang stalking with the government, which is the City of Ontario, while I remain in the City of Ontario, California. This is state action that the people of the state share in. None of them are private citizens engaging in that pattern of conduct with knowledge and intent and ongoing impunity and malice. You will recall the entity is keeping the fake sun over me, and the evidence that I'm capturing immediately preceding the video that you just listened to. I am at the Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, and the entity is maintaining the fake sun over me at this Church's Chicken, which is in the evening. And then this is on the same Holt Boulevard. So this Holt Boulevard runs east and west. This is always giving you the big picture. You're never getting lost in the trees. This is showing you evidence of a fake sun. And when the entity is stalking, that means the entity, a bunch of special needs people who are following the leader. The leader is the federal prosecutor, who is leading them into an inevitable demise, placement into asylums and into prisons, and into criminal records where they will be appropriately labeled so that the rest of the country is protected with regard to knowledge of who terrorists in this country are and what they are capable of and what they've already engaged in, which is going to change their ability to threaten other and endanger other American citizens. So relevant to the video that you just listened to, I did capture that video at what is 7:29 p.m. For you to listen to. Immediately preceding is documentation of gang stalking by Tracy Banks, who is still targeting. Everything that she is doing, she's doing while she is gang stalking. So this is, again, somebody that is taking me to Church's Chicken, and I'm documenting because she remains engaged in the pattern of conduct. This is a psychopath that I deal with respectively. She's a psychopath that engaged in criminally summoning the Ontario Police Department, lying about what it is that happened before she summoned them, and she's been gang stalking the entire time, which is evidence that is already surrounding her while she is gang stalking. So this is why you witness me calmly tolerating this maniacal psychopath, this pedophile, this sex offender, this thief, this criminal that wants to be me. And she is engaging in what is an inevitable demise while I expose a gang stalking mother, which is relevant to the malice of an entity that's engaged in public corruption. She is driving me to Church's Chicken to purchase dinner, and she is gang stalking me in furtherance of murder and kidnapping and theft of my personal property. In doing so, she's lost on all accounts, but I'm still documenting her because she's going to federal prison. The evidence of her gang stalking me is the fake sun remaining over me at 700 East Holt Boulevard, the same Holt Boulevard that I was present on, which is west of this Church's Chicken, where the sun would not be, first of all, over the same street. And you're looking at the evidence of, again, a fake sun that remains over me for the duration of the day, 10:41 a.m. until what is 7:05 p.m. That is the majority of the day where the natural environment is never shared with Naples, Florida, for example, where the sun could not possibly be only one.
it would require there be more than one sun. That is speaking to the specific environment, which is proven, and science is on my side in this. The entity is engaging in what is gang stalking, proven through the unnatural environment. And on Holt Boulevard at 10:41 a.m., I'm documenting the same population, the same entity of a special needs population that are gang stalking me, and the evidence is already surrounding them while they are already prosecuted, and they're still gang stalking. That's relevant to their special needs status as well, however. East of what is 150 East Holt Boulevard, where I'm documenting the fake sun in the Ontario International Airport on the same street under the same specific environment, is stalking me. And as I'm documenting on video on Holt Boulevard, west of 700 East Holt Boulevard, where Church's Chicken is located, and I'm documenting the fake sunset at 7:05 p.m., where you will see Tracy Banks gang stalking in the path with the rest of the maniacal psychopaths, violent sex offenders who are equally special needs in that environment, engaging in what is a fully exposed system of surveillance, while they are surrounded with the evidence, while they're engaging in it in front of the whole world, and the whole world's also going to witness the prosecution. Her license plate is 9HUZ740, where she's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and doing so on the roads and the highways, which is relevant to federal stalking as well. She's doing so in concert with license DK084, that's a handicap license plate, at the venue of Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, doing so with third parties license 7KSX483, with license plate 54842C4 at the third-party facilitating venue, Church's Chicken, where the impossible is happening with regard to the environment where the evidence of criminal surveillance is underway, just like here at the OVITT Family Community Library, where I am at the Starbucks, and I'm documenting that pattern of conduct, just like at the Woodside Senior Apartments, where Tracy Banks is gang stalking by residents with all of her gang stalking neighbors, the same special needs status. It is not based on race or age or, in other words, demographic or linguistics. It's also, as the Ontario Police and the City of Ontario demonstrate, not based on position or placement of authority. This is speaking to a special needs population that raises a threat to American citizens who are unsuspecting and unaware of a whole population that is entirely demented, engaging in targeting American citizens and abusing whatever positions that they have, whatever they have at their disposal to engage in that. And that is a national security concern. It is domestic terrorism in the country, and the entity is engaging in that. That's relevant to what I documented. The sun is not going to remain on one street in one city. Just so that you know, the distance from, for example, where I'm at 1041, which I document in order to prove, because this is demonic. And so the entity is relying on a supernatural pattern of conduct in order to falsely depict the character of an American citizen that lacks evidence to prove it. At 150 East Holt Boulevard and at Church's Chicken at 700 East Holt Boulevard, this is a 3-minute ride on one street that runs east and west, and this is, in other words, 0.6 miles, basically a half a mile. And the natural environment does not include the sun being present over my head, by the way, at 10:41 a.m. and then being east of that location to be in perfect alignment with me, that is stalking with the fake sun. At what is 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours later on Holt Boulevard, where the entity is keeping that fake sun while I'm in the presence of the third party, Tracy Banks, a malicious psychopath targeting her daughter, whom she wants to be, lying about being my sister, having sex with fake friends of mine in order to conspire to steal property from me, and is obsessed with me, and that's why she has sex with people that I formerly associated with. I don't associate with any of them now because there's sexual activity, which is not what I'm concerned about. It's relevant to showing co-conspirators, those that have met each other, even had sex with each other, and I didn't even know that they ever knew of each other because I never introduced him. That sexual relationship is legally relevant to proving the ongoing conspiracy, the depths to which the entity is associated with each other and targeting me and gang stalking me unbeknownst to me in concert with the state of California, also sharing and criminally defaming my character in ways that are entirely malicious and literally sharing and manufacturing, making up, artificially engineering mental illness. This is the pattern of conduct that is relevant to the fake sunset as I'm documenting it yesterday evening at the TABOR Professional Building. P.O.C.
All right, what you're saying, the entity gang stalking via planes and the people of the state that are stalking, tracking my steps as I walk through the library. The fake sun's over the staircase, and you can see it while I'm on the basement level of the library. This is, again, steps away from where the entity is engaging in what they're calling gang stalking police training. That was at 7:15 a.m. It's 11:44 a.m. We're gang stalking by the City of Ontario using commercial planes and sex offenders, including license 5ZZG151, monitoring my vagina inside of the venue while they're crossing path outside of the venue under a fake sun that remains over the venue, where the same City of Ontario is gang stalking, like I documented at 6:22 p.m. under the same exact circumstances, which is the specific environment. You're looking at a demon gang stalking with a baby strapped to his chest. He's stalking me inside of the venue of the OVITT Family Community Library. That's a sex offender both monitoring my vagina and holding a child with regard to gang stalking. This is the entity that engages in also sexually violating children, molesting them, raping them, trafficking them, and also using them to engage in the pattern of conduct, because you're supposed to think that a gang stalker would not be holding a newborn baby or a toddler. That's the P.O.C. by the demon possessed. License 8JHX 887. They're crossing path under the fake sun that's still here in the same circumstances at 6:22 p.m. like I documented yesterday. 8JXH 887 P.O.C. And these are the demons that are molesting with impossible light when I'm sitting on the side of the OVITT Family Community Library and I'm sitting in the shade and somehow impossible light is touching my person while sex offenders like license 8JXH 887 are stalking. Okay, that's the P.O.C. of the population. This is the federal RICO case against every business that's gang stalking, every household, such as 404 West C Street, gang stalking with the Ontario Police, tracking my steps as an entity stalking from place to place. All right, and this is also showing the asinity of stalking under a fake sun, that special needs population that's engaging in obvious criminal conduct that is obviously mentally demented as well. License 8XMU 263, I believe, capturing this gang stalker. License 8. That is, again, license 8KMU283. This is P.O.C. The demon possessed over and under 18, their parents, their guardians, those that are in custody, like the City of Ontario, with minor children, like Ontario Montclair School District, with minor children, engaging in gang stalking with children. They're engaging in activity creation with the adults. They're engaged in audible activity. They're engaged in stalking in bathrooms as the entity, the government, contributing to the delinquency of minors, making them sex offenders, making them gang stalkers while they're in that environment. Remember, I'm documenting households at Woodside Senior Apartments who are losing their children. While you're looking at the entity does so on a greater basis at a facilitating venue such as OVITT Family Community Library. And the Ontario Police are under this fake sun, cheesing from ear to ear, showing you their special needs status as the sun is steps away from where it was at 7:15 a.m. over me, while they were indeed stalking, and they're stalking now. And like I stated, monitoring my vagina while the entity is pacing all around. They're not patrons at the library. This is stalking, and they're all focused on me. Okay, that's the absurdly psychopathic pattern of conduct. Absurdly. License 8JGP. Hold on. License 8JGB911. License 6WSX594. And the sex offender in custody of a child, that does include license 8JXH887, license 6ZFT010, 9KDK127, that's Old Park. Okay, Old Park was molesting me this morning in a gray van. Old Park is still here. Gang stalking, I've documented Old Park before. Third parties, gang stalker, license 6ZMR802. License DG73A44, that's a paper plate. License 8SXD140. License 8SHP292. License 9CIV567. License 7UXM283. License plate 8XKC958. The entire parking garage engaged in gang stalking, you know that. I walked inside of that parking garage and I captured video for you of engineer light, not on the ground, which is equally impossible in a covered structure. It was both on the ground and all over the ceiling where my shadow is appearing. This is where the special needs who are gang stalking, they exist in that environment, monitoring you, not addressing you, not talking to you. And this is the utter failure of that system. They're not strangers, they're demons. Okay, in case you did not know, demons represent the Jehovah's Witness who are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring under the fake sun. All right, they're engaging in what is the pattern of conduct with the government. 8PUV202, that's also evidence of what is not the true God that they do not worship. They're serving Satan while they call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses, while they're engaged in criminal conduct, which is demonic. That's also how you know that they do not know Christ Jesus. They do not serve the true and living God. By the way, it's currently where you will see them gang stalking 11:48 a.m. All right, this is a sex offender monitoring my vagina while I'm in the bathroom, crossing path outside with knowledge of the status of my vagina. 9PW8286. That's why the entity surrounds me inside of the bathroom with amplified audible activity, and that's why the demons go inside of the bathroom, stalking in the path, and this is why the airport is flying adjacent to the library under circumstances where I have evidence of the fake sun still here 9 hours later, which is the P.O.C. All right, this is OVITT Family Community Library, gang stalking. All these images will be uploaded to the Google Drive, and this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. P.O.C. Alrighty, when you're witnessing gang stalking by the City of Ontario at the OVITT Family Community Library, this is the same venue that committed kidnapping while gang stalking. Kidnapping under the fake sun on June 16, 2022 at 10:29 a.m. Under no circumstances in a natural environment, but for gang stalking, where the government has no jurisdiction, the government has no constitutional authority, the government is keeping you under surveillance while then engaging in what is obstruction of justice because you have the presence of mind to prove that they're demons who are stalking. That's where you're engaging in kidnapping. And at 11:40, you're looking at the fake sun and a bunch of stalkers pacing in and out with children in hand. Under that light source, the sun is not going to still be over this venue as I'm capturing it at basically around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And you'll know that it's still here at 6:22 in the evening. It's over me as I exit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is where the same gang stalkers at 7:15 a.m. are steps away from where they committed kidnapping at the OVITT Family Community Library as a department. They're gang stalking as a department, sharing what is obsessing with stalking me from place to place, and doing so under the malicious guise of law enforcement. And it's clearly not law enforcement. I've shown stalking by a demented special needs department masquerading itself as law enforcement, and that's going to be addressed with regard to domestic terrorism in the United States. And they are subject to federal prison, while the proof of kidnapping is what I continuously document at OVITT Family Community Library, where they engage in the pattern of conduct of seeking to obstruct justice by kidnapping you through the same gang stalking government that they're monitoring you with. That absurdly corrupt and unconstitutional violation of your rights to not only not be subject to surveillance, but also to seek redress in the courts, which you necessarily do by documenting it and proving that the government is a psychopathic stalker and a sex offender. This is where the entity engages in kidnapping. This is what Starbucks engaged in. This is what Woodside Senior Apartments engaged in. This is what OVITT Family Community Library is engaged in. This is what Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue engaged in. And they're doing it in the specific environment in every single last one of these crime scenes where the entity is documented under a fake sun, both rising and setting at aforesaid venues, is the evidence that is disbanding the Ontario Police. And the people of the state, every single last one of them engaging in kidnapping, are going to federal prison. All right, it's currently 12:08 p.m. under the fake sun, where the entity committed kidnapping under a fake sun on June 16, 2022. In doing so, as I'm documenting the fake sun that remains over this entrance where a bunch of defendants pace in and out to their demise. This is the living dead, and they're engaging in deeds of death while they're already surrounded with the evidence, and meaning it was already over for these demons before they started. Like I said, this is the P.O.C., and it's the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. You're looking at a bunch of sex offenders pacing around an inch in your light. This is the special needs population gang stalking. 12:08 p.m., this is P.O.C. All right, what you will see reflected in images are the demon-possessed who are engaging in a very specific pattern of conduct. And it's based on what is, again, the special needs population whose criminal engagement in surveillance is proven through the maintenance of an environment and their behavior in that environment where they're engaging in gang stalking. It is federal group stalking monitoring. It's referred to as gang stalking. And it is proven through what is the 2 p.m. fake sun that's over the same staircase that it was as I arrived inside of the venue. You're looking at a sex offender that's engaging in what is stalking and doing so outside of a bathroom, relevant positioning, criminal monitoring. It is vicarious presence on behalf of the sex offenders. For example, the Ontario Police stalking under the 7:15 a.m. fake sun, which is 0.2 miles. That's basically a 2-minute walk across the street where they're under the fake sun that's still over the same location. That's what that is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They're monitoring my vagina while a sex offender engages what is stalking in the path to make sure obsessive
of maintenance of presence and engineered light is maintained even in the bathroom. And you will see the images of that sex offender. Simultaneous crossing path coexists with what is stalking by planes. So that's what you're recognizing is underway inside of the building. Simultaneous crossing path is underway by the entity that's maintaining ongoing audible activity. And the demon possessed that are targeting you, their demon possession is evident through their pattern of conduct when they don't have to address you, look at you, know you. And what you'll see is as I sit next to the sex offender, seated outside of the women's restroom, monitoring my vagina as an entity, the entity is engaging in what is pacing. You'll see a demon walk up the stairs. The engineered light is on the wall. You'll see a demon walk up the stairs. You'll see a demon walk underneath the staircase. They are both crossing path with me. They're pacing in real time. You'll see this reflected in the images. It's currently 2:10 p.m. So that's going to be captured in images at approximately 2:08, 2:07 p.m. And it's like clockwork. The entity is doing so under the fake sun that's over the exact same building that it was at 7 in the morning, where the Ontario Montclair School District is gang stalking under that fake sun. The fake sun's over the parking garage at 10:13 a.m., where engineer light is inside of that parking garage, both on the ceiling and in the depths of that parking garage. This is where demons are pacing around while monitoring my vagina, and the entity is maintaining ongoing amplified, impactful noise while a sex offender is stalking outside of the bathroom. He also knows what's going on with my vagina. That's why I capture the images, the up-close images of sex offenders who are also demon-possessed. This is the criminal conduct. This is the removal of Mike LORENZ as the chief of police. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. This is federal prison for every gang-stalking police officer engaging in what is stalking and psychological torture, and they're also sex offenders, and their engagement in what is monitoring genitalia that they're keeping under surveillance is proven while the OVITT Family Community Library practices it. All right, the entity is doing so in that specific environment, which is irreconcilable, and the evidence of that irreconcilable environment is the proof of gang stalking, which is demonic. It's pursuant to who are the demon possessed, and the Ontario Police Department are not only corrupt, engaging in criminal surveillance, which is unconstitutional, they are demon possessed. They are literally engaged in what is a pattern of conduct exhibiting what is special needs, and their special needs is a disqualifier from law enforcement as well. With regard to their disdain for the Constitution, engaging in surveillance and doing so with the impunity and malice that they themselves have exhibited, while they know that they've been documented. And regardless of the fact of me stating, I've already proven also, and they have proven, that they are aware that they're being documented while they engage in that pattern of conduct, such as stalking me in helicopters as I engage in documentation. Doing so under a fake sun that remains over one building for 12 hours is adequate evidence of knowledge about what's being documented about you in that supernatural environment. And they are maintaining sex offenders all about outside of the bathroom, pacing like you'll see in the images. As I sit down, demon under the staircase, demon on the staircase, engineer light on the staircase, the fake sun is over the staircase in the same way that it was 4 hours ago. And this is the same building where you know the fake sun is still present at 4 p.m. and it's still there at 6 p.m. when I exit this venue. These are sex offenders that are engaged in what is also, understand gang stalking is an egregiously violent sex offense. It's domestic terrorism, gang stalking, the domestic terrorists are violent sex offenders, and they will strap babies on their chest while they're monitoring your genitalia. That is relevant to what is the threat to children, not any evidence of not being a sex offender. Nothing, including children, is superseding the pattern of conduct. It's representing the ongoing contribution to the delinquency of minors who are made sex offenders by the people of the state who will be prosecuted for engaging in state surveillance with children. Okay? The entity is amplifying ongoing audible activity inside of the bathroom, and doing so while a sex offender is outside of the women's restroom, keeping my vagina under surveillance, while a bunch of demons, all of them are pacing all around, and they're all centered, this ritualistic conduct is centered around my vagina. Okay, this is idolatry. The entity, the demon-possessed, are worshiping me while they're obsessively stalking, and they're doing so under the fake sun, and the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded for that. It's currently 2:13 p.m. This is P.O.C. at the OVITT Family Community Library. It's 7:03 p.m. and Tracy Banks's friend, Kyra Davis, is arriving at the facilitating venue. There's no coincidences here, but again claiming, oh, I'm always in Ontario. Oh, I'm always at the library at Ontario. Oh, I'm always, I saw you and I knew who you were. I am not dressed in any manner that I typically am. I have on a hoodie, a black coat. I'm in a cubby, like a desk cubby, and she's walking up to me in an engineer light. This is all monitoring, but I just want to be clear, even outside of the P.O.C, which we already know is underway, I'm sitting in a desk. How would you even know where I'm at or be able to identify me with a hoodie on the back of my head, and you're walking out in the basement of the library in Ontario? You live in Fontana. I just want to give all those circumstances, and but this is a third party, Kyra, and this is a third party that is a friend of Tracy Banks, arriving at the venue, and I'm just going to leave that documentation there. It's 7:05 p.m. P.O.C.
All right, this is the same sex offender stalking with the Ontario International Airport. I'm doing so in what is the specific environment. So I've got one shadow here. And parking illegally also then it goes to two shadows. They're all stalking. But this sex offender likes to come out and monitor me on a regular basis. 8RXL751, that's a demon that he's monitoring me with, stalking with light. They're all engaging in stalking with light. As the Ontario International Airport is stalking, this demon comes and crosses path and parks in the red illegally in order to engage in surveilling me with the City of Ontario. This is an unlawful threat that I'm going to continuously document. This is relevant for federal prison. This is where my shadows just multiplied. It was one shadow and now it's two. This is a demon, and this is a sex offender that's stalking, creeping in the night, stalking a woman, and also knows that he's being documented. This is why the Ontario Police, by the way, is being disbanded. It's 9:04 p.m. This is P.O.C. This is criminal activity that the City of Ontario is incentivizing, is engaging in, facilitating. And this is, I want to be clear, the entity is also monitoring. 7-Eleven is in relevant position. Every business in California is subject to a federal RICO case. I've prosecuted the state. Okay, but while I go to venues and I show you how those venues, those businesses are gang stalking just like every other place, while I'm down the street from the business, that doesn't mean that they're not monitoring. The entity keeps a whole entity engaged in that POC. There are demons in South Ontario that are engaged in what is monitoring me, know what I'm doing, engaged in surveillance. Understand that this is criminal surveillance. I document as an individual where I'm at, how the entity is engaged in a uniform pattern of conduct in an identifiable environment, which is speaking to what is, again, impossible to exist naturally, speaking to surveillance. That's a stalker. Okay, and that's a stalker that's acting, the gang stalker engaging in traditional stalking. The entity is supposed to be engaging what is gang stalking, being a bunch of faceless demons that are engaging what is a multiplicity of identities. And you're understanding that they're not strangers, but this demon is a gang stalker who's repeatedly engaging in stalking, and that's relevant for federal prison. It is currently 9:05 p.m. The City of Ontario is stalking right here, which is what I'm capturing in images, and it's in the engineer environment. My shadow is taller than me, and there's more than one. My shadow surrounds. This is a gang of shadows that's all around over here. This is POC. They're all stalking. It's 9:05 p.m. at the TABOR Professional Building, where I documented the sunrise. They're stalking, and where I documented the sunset, they are all stalking. POC.
All right, the video you just listened to is video evidence, and that's why I am focusing on what you can see in the specific environment. So let me recite the license plate of this third party that I've documented gang stalking me on more than one occasion in the middle of the night. Stalking with light. This is the special needs. It's a threat to your life when they're gang stalking. It's a threat to your life when they're doing so with a corrupt law enforcement agency, bearing weapons, exercising authority under the law that they don't have, with the intent to kidnap you and furtherance of murder and kidnapping. It's a threat to your life when they're exhibiting mental illness, stalking you via light. These are psychopaths that are stalking in the middle of the night, and that's what this third party represents, while he is again engaging in surveillance on behalf of the state. And I did not mention the license plate, so let me go ahead and recite it. This is the third party that I've documented on more than one occasion, engaging in what is state action.
By the way, this is not an individual, this is an entity. And the entity will be diced down, and individuals are going to be federally prosecuted, but they act as an entity, they speak as an entity, they engage in criminal conduct as an entity. License 8R XL751. Hold on. License 8RXL751. This is the third party. That is an old dirty bastard, all right, sitting in the same blue shirt again, parked in the red, parked illegally outside of Woodside Senior Apartments and the TABOR Professional Building in relevant position while the demon-possessed people of the state are molesting me with light. The City of Ontario is stalking, flying over in relevant position while I'm also surrounded with a gang of my shadows. This is all manner of surveillance and domestic terrorism and psychological torture. And you have some elderly creeper who was stalking again, engaging in that P.O.C. And it is that license plate again, 8RXL751. This is a sex offender. They are all sex offenders. And this particular sex offender likes to engage in surveilling me in the middle of the night. It is again 9:09 p.m. This is P.O.C.
All right, this is the people of the state gang stalking and Engineer Light. The Ontario International Airport is gang stalking, flying over 325 West G Street. Look at this shadow activity. This is light activity. This is relevant positioning. And this is what the government is relying on, stalking in the middle of the night. This is the same third party that was gang stalking with the Ontario police when they committed a molestation at 7 p.m. on this same street at the TABOR Professional Building. And this is a demon that the entity to engage in what is ongoing harassment, monitoring in this while I am asleep. His shadows on the wall, his also shadows on the floor. He's monitoring. And so is the City of Ontario with him, relying on a demon, stalking in the middle of the night, that old dirty bastard sitting parked in the red, stalking every night. And I'm documenting the people of the state gang stalking that want to be close to me, stalking in places like bathrooms. The people of the state that want to be next to me, stalking in the middle of the night. This is what the entity is acting with. This is what is disbanding the Ontario Police Department as well. But I want to be clear, this is relevant to what is the entity that is gang stalking with the intent to merely harass. This is when you're already caught as a gang stalker. This is when you're already exposed as a demon and engaging in this because they are resorting to what are the tactics of harassment, but it is nonetheless an unlawful threat to your life and your safety, and you're going to prosecute for this. This is the gang stalkers who are engaging in criminal conduct on behalf of the government. What is it that you're...
I just have to say thank you for saving me that day from the police. It was pretty encouraging.
This is audible activity, and this is a demon.
Not a demon.
And I want to be clear, there's no physical or mental handicap that is superseding what is demon possession. This is activity creation. They stalk with light in the same manner. They stalk in the presence. They stalk with synchronicity with the state that's stalking in planes and helicopters. It's the same POC. And this demon's engaging in the POC pursuant to knowledge of going into a sleep state. So this is ongoing stalking with the intent to harass. So the moment that I'm falling asleep, this demon engages in what is coming close to me. These are the demons that are monitoring when you're asleep as well. This is what demons like Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks, this is what they're engaging in together. I want to be clear, with an entity. So you're not looking at Jason Isaac Fields, but you're looking at the same demonic spirit that Jason Isaac Fields operates from, and they use each other to engage in harassment. So I just want to make sure you're dealing with demon possession.
I was never harassing you.
Okay, this is POC. This is harassment.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's harassment. I'm going to sit up and argue with a stalker or a demon. This is POC. It's currently it's 11:40 p.m. Ontario International Airport just flew over 325 West G Street and still is. While this demon's been circling around, I took pictures already. He's been pacing around, stalking and monitoring, and waits until the moment that I fall asleep. Wait until the moment that I fall asleep in order to... Hold on.
Thank you.
Here you go. There's this co-defendant, the Ontario International Airport. The entity is hiding behind the trees. There's no planes taking off over here. But sounding plane activity, I've already documented the Ontario International Airport gang stalking all night long. That's exactly what they're doing. And there's the fake moon. And the demons are stalking with light, pacing up and down the street, monitoring together. This is an entity gang stalking together. And they're doing something outside, obsessively monitoring and stalking me. This is POC. It's 11:41 p.m. Yeah, this is Tracy Banks is going to federal prison, and so is Jason Isaac Fields. And demons engaging in what is harassing you do not have any future endeavors with me. This is documentation that's sitting on the record, and this is exactly why federal law is going to bar any documented gang stalker like Jason Isaac Fields from ever coming into my presence. This is P.O.C.